Jason Takes Manhattan, the complete 2008-2009 series, August 2017, Brandon Norkeith. Episode 1, The Day After, May 1st through 7th, 2008. Page 1. We open on Manhattan, New York, black night, exterior alleyway, dead end. A familiar young man and woman rush to a set of closed gates. Finding a way through is seemingly impossible. They then rush towards the way they had come, but find it blocked off just as well by Jason Voorhees, standing there in slick black attire, black gloves with a really white hockey mask over his face. Rennie Wickham, the woman, and Sean Robertson, the man, look on in shock. Jason walks his way towards them, advancing with such a simple set of leg motions. Rennie and Sean run to the dead end and begin to enter the undergrounds through a sewer hole. Cut to sewer system, exterior, tunnel 1, ladder. Rennie descends, quickly but carefully. She moves out of the way, as now Sean descends just the same. They now run out of sight. Down the way, they run together and side by side, footsteps in the dirty layer of water. Darkness surrounds them, and the only lights that brighten their way are dim. Back to the ladder, Jason is climbing down. From his waist down, we see, and he simply walks out of sight. Once again, Rennie and Sean make their way down the tunnel. This time approaching the end, splashes at their feet. Out of pitch black, Jason steps through an oil grid separator. Now at the end of the first tunnel, Rennie and Sean are confronted by a man in uniform, coveralls, hard hat, and a wrench in hand. Rennie and Sean halt in shock. Sanitation worker. What are you kids doing down here? Episode 1, page 2. Sean, hunched over, out of breath. Can you help us get out of here? Sanitation worker, grabbing toolbox. Sure can, but we got a minute to spare. Sean, what do you mean? Sanitation worker. Toxic waste, son. The sewer floods out with the stuff every night at midnight. Less than 10 minutes from now. Come on. He begins to walk away, and the scared pair follow him. Interior, tunnel 2. Down the tunnel, the three walk. On and on down the way, but then they come to a turn, just about to pass it by, when Jason jumps out and takes hold of the sanitation worker. Sean is knocked unconscious against the wall. He slides down with Rennie backing away screaming. Jason pulls the other man away, snatching the wrench out of his quivering right hand. Rennie looks to Sean and then to the well-lit well, and the screams of the sanitation worker are heard. We see the shadows of he and Jason. Jason raises the wrench slowly, and the man just looks up, letting out a scream not quite complete, and then the wrench is brought down, striking the man's head, a splash of blood on the wall. Now Jason steps around the corner. Rennie begins to crouch down as Jason raises the bloody wrench to Sean, and flash! Jason is lit up, and he stops dead in his tracks. Rennie aims the beam of a flashlight at him, his head jerking right at Rennie. A brief pause. Episode 1, page 3. Jason starts walking away. Rennie runs the other way. Jason moves on at such a slow pace, determined with bloody wrench in hand, walking on into this darkness. Interior, tunnel 3. Rennie turns the corner. She runs forth, hoping Jason gets lost between her and Sean. Then she turns another corner and puts her back to the corner wall. She squats down slowly, closing her eyes, but then noticing a barrel of toxic waste, rotting from severe nightly submergence. We pan away from Rennie as she begins to pound the top of the barrel with the flashlight. Jason is walking right towards us, and his head turns to Rennie charging out from behind the corner with the barrel in hands, and she jerks it right at his face. Jason's face is wasted with the toxic chemicals inside. A horrid scream follows from behind the hockey mask. Jason drops the wrench and begins to tear the mask away from his steaming face. Rennie screams at the sight. Behind that mask, now lying at Jason's feet, is a melted glob, like someone had too much fun playing with ice cream. Jason just stands there in screaming shock, with his right hand up, but not touching his pain-stricken mug. Rennie runs past him, off and away like it was her last chance. Interior, tunnel 2. Rennie runs right up and kneels by Sean, still out of it. Rennie.
Sean, get up.
Lights above shake. Russian liquid is coming.
Get up, Sean.
Sean is awake, but clearly woozy. Rennie manages to get him to his feet. The two stumble another way now. They see Jason rub against the tunnel wall, stumbling himself along half-blind. Episode 1, page 4. Interior, ladder 2. Rennie and Sean hold on to the bottom of this ladder. They start climbing, Sean first. Jason is only getting closer. From afar, rushing toxic waste is making its way, filling the entire tunnel. Jason reaches the bottom of the ladder, and he grabs Rennie's legs. She hugs tight against Sean, who's pushing the locked grate, blocking their way. The toxic waste is rushing closer with each passing second. Jason weakly fiddles with Rennie's legs, then stops. He turns his head around. He's immediately taken over by the waste. With such an impact, Jason hits the corner, with Rennie and Sean rising as high as they can, trapped with the most dangerous pool below them. But then it drains away a moment or two later. Jason is now a little boy in short trunks, barely breathing, probably sleeping, or just at rest. Rennie and Sean look down in horror. Then a tapping above. The pair look up to see a dirty old bum with scraggly face beard and a worn brown hat on his head stare down at them. Old bum. Hello? Hello? Rennie.
Help us. Please, get us out of here.
Old bum, standing up. You're okay. Sean, beat and breathing heavily. Thank you. Back to where the boy had been, but is no longer. Maybe he dropped off the side into the waste pool, but a black stained hockey mask floats by nevertheless. Episode 1, page 5. Cut to alleyway, opposite side behind Dive's diner. Rennie and Sean walk with the bum. He leads the couple over to an open dumpster. The old man reaches in with his right hand. He starts digging in. Rennie and Sean wait curiously. Rennie.
I'm so tired.
Sean. We've been awake for almost 2 days. Bum. What were you two doing down there anyway? A short pause. They're not answering. You two must not be from around here. You two must be lucky. Lucky daredevils and toxic waste. Flooding. Flooding? Sean. No, sir. Hunched over, hands on his knees. We're just very tired. Rennie. Demanding.
We need a safe place to sleep.
The old bum now pulls out a black digital watch. He shakes off a crumpled piece of paper, stained yellow. Old bum. You're okay. Cut to abandoned building, interior, empty room. A messy room with nothing but garbage lying about. A tipped-over silver trash can and a mess of empty beer cans before it onto the ground. The old bum stands by the door. Behind the darkness as Rennie and Sean walk out into the middle of the room, hand in hand. Sean, turning around to the bum. Thank you. The old bum nods and walks away. Back out into the alley. Rennie and Sean lie down on their thick blanket in the corner. They settle down peacefully. Then they turn face to each other. On their sides. They look into each other's eyes, then close them, finally falling asleep. Episode 1, page 6. Cut to sewer system moments later. Interior, tunnel 2, ladder 2. The old bum is now climbing down the ladder. A view from below. He climbs down and slowly taps his left foot on the soaked sewer floor. He sighs, now dropping off the ladder. He dusts his hands off one another, looking up. He then looks down one end of the tunnel. A moment's pause, as he now walks down the way. He reads his digital watch, reading 12:09 p.m. Saturday the 14th. Down tunnel 2, he continues to walk. We now hold on the black and white hockey mask. It lies face up beside a corner down the tunnel. The old bum approaches it, slowing down his pace. He now stops, kneeling down. A little laugh escapes his mouth. The old man picks the mask up, standing up, not realizing Jason Voorhees stands behind him. From the neck down we see him, and the bum's face suddenly turns cold. He spins around and looks up, an immediate gasp as the mask falls. Jason's hands reach and clamp onto both sides of the bum's head. The bum's head is ripped right off his shoulders. Cut to Times Square, sunrise. Exterior, Dive's Diner, around the corner. Caption, 6 hours later. Rennie and Sean walk around this corner, looking to each other and smiling. It's got to be over now. Sean raises his hand, and in the open palm is a gold necklace with a little Statue of Liberty charm attached. Sean, smiling. I hear there's a statue here that's 22 stories tall. Rennie smiles back. Sean attaches the necklace around her neck, and the couple move out onto the sunlit area. They look up and stop at the sight of all the Times Square wonder. Then the couple embrace. Rennie holds him tight, her eyes closed. Then her eyes widen. She looks down and gawks at something. Episode 1, page 7. Rennie.
Toby.
Sean turns around and immediately grins at an Australian shepherd. Rennie kneels before it, and Sean does too. They caress it for a moment before rising. Now this trio starts walking down the sidewalk as we pan high, to the center of Times Square in all its mass. Closing in on them now, they walk past a few strange men in gray business suits. One of them carries a briefcase. Briefcase man, move it! Rennie and Sean stop to look back at this man in a hurry. Then a woman, who looks like quite the whore in high heels, squats down face to face with Toby, blonde whore.
What a cute little doggy.
Scratching under Toby's chin.
You're so handsome. I love you. Yes, I do.
Toby shows his teeth, then growls.
Oh.
She stands up.
Well, aren't you friendly?
Rennie, under her breath, kindly.
Excuses, ma'am.
Rennie fakes a smile, just trying to get by. Blonde whore, right hand on Sean's chest.
Hey now, honey. If you've got money, I can give you anything you want.
Sean, I don't want anything from you. Excuse us, please. Sean walks around her. She puts on a frown and raises her right middle finger to them as they walk away. Now the horse starts walking on her way. Back to Rennie and Sean making their way through Times Square. Several vehicles pass them by. We notice Rennie keeping a close eye on Toby, who's walking by her side. Sean, we'll just take a little trip to the island, get things off our minds. Sean glances behind a second. I think he's wasted. Episode 1, page 8. Rennie.
All we have to do is get lost. Even if he survived, he'll never find us on the other side of the city.
Pausing.
Right.
Sean, hesitating. Yeah. A longer pause as the Crystal Lake trio walk in silence. Sean continued. I guess I should look for a job today. Rennie.
Aren't we going back to Crystal Lake?
Sean. Rennie. Sean stops her. He holds her hands up. Toby tries to stay between them as the pedestrians hustle by. Sean continued. You know our dream we had? When we could afford to live here, we would? Rennie.
I didn't know if you remembered. We were kids.
Sean, I just think, since we're here already, we could do our best to make a living. Maybe it's a sign from God. Rennie, unsure. Sean, we survived one hell of a trip. I really think it's time to look forward to the future. Toby barks. See? Rennie.
Why don't we talk about it later?
Rennie and Sean lean in and kiss. Episode 1, page 9. Cut to Dives Diner, exterior alleyway. The blonde horse steps into the alleyway. She slows down, walking up to a dumpster. She then spots this open sewer hole. Then she looks into the abandoned building behind this diner. Blonde whore.
You in here? Yeah, come on. I'm waiting.
No answer, only a big empty room.
Third time's the charm.
She leans back out and her eyes dart to the streets as 4 punks walk by, one of which carries a boombox under his right arm. They laugh and bicker to one another, the whore is scared, now stepping away. She steps right into another woman carrying a big bag of garbage, a shorter woman in an apron, a Dives Diner employee, no doubt. They stand back to have a look at one another, the whore and the waitress. Waitress.
What do you think you're doing?
Whore.
Looking for money. Honey, you got some?
Waitress, walking to dumpster.
Why don't you beat it?
Whore, watching her.
Because you ain't got nothing to beat.
The waitress drops the bag in the dumpster. Whore, continued.
Except maybe that ugly mug of yours.
The waitress doesn't even bother making more eye contact. She turns from the dumpster and back to the door. Waitress, eyes aimed low.
Look who's talking.
The whore just barely laughs at this as the waitress starts back inside. Waitress, continued.
Stupid cunt.
Episode 1, page 10. Now the horse steps back, accidentally dropping a leg down into the sewer hole. An immediate scream of sudden pain in her vaginal region. Something had to have been damaged, dropping like she did on the concrete. And now she's stuck. Cut to sewer system, interior, tunnel 2, ladder 2, someone's POV. Something approaches the injured left leg dangling. Step after step, it's right under it, and looking up, out of POV. A familiar and grotesque arm reaches up. The torn and black-gloved right hand takes a tight hold on the whore's left ankle. Exterior alleyway. The blonde whore gasps. Her eyes get wide, full of fear. Interior tunnel 2, ladder 2. We watch as this arm rips the whore's left leg from her body. Just a tug, it seemed, did the trick. Now the corpse falls down, slamming down on the sewer floor. A slam of the sewer opening being closed, the lid shutting. The attacker is unseen, but it's still quite clear who's doing this, and he grabs a handful of the blonde hair and continues to drag the screaming whore down the tunnelway. Exterior alleyway. The waitress steps back out, right hand on the door handle. She looks left. She looks right. Nothing out of the ordinary. Now she steps back, closing the door behind her. Episode 1, page 11. Interior, Tunnel 2. Down the stretch of dark path, the one-legged blonde whore is bleeding severely from the lower wound. Tears down her face cheeks as she holds on to the unseen assailant's right arm. She dragged right up to the corpse of the old bum, lying dead next to the hockey mask. Now Jason looks down at her, as she looks up with such a terrified expression upon her. Even in the sewer shadows, Jason's facial disfigurement bumps the terror into full gear. He reaches down, but she pulls a Bowie knife from seemingly out of nowhere. She sticks Jason in the forearm of the hand that keeps her from running. An under-the-breath growl from the attacker. He lets the woman go, now pulling the hunting knife out from his forearm. The whore drops to her back, almost unconscious from the loss of blood, but she rolls out onto her big chest and tries to crawl away. Blonde whore, drooling.
Please don't do this. Please.
Jason hunches over, knife tightly in right hand. He sticks her in back. A slight grunt later, and he pulls it up alongside her backbone. More screams commence, as her backside is split open slowly, blood spilling out. She's dead as the blade reaches just below the neck. Then Jason pulls the Bowie knife out. We hold on the whore's corpse. Jason walks right to the bum's body, and his torn head lying nearby. Jason bends down and picks up the hockey mask. Now he places it over his semi-melted face. He turns back to the dead woman, and we finally get our own next glimpse of him ready for the next nightfall, and his next night on the town. Cut to West Side Highway. Several minutes later, interior taxi cab. The taxi driver is a middle-aged, quiet grump from the looks of it, but we pan back to Rennie and Sean sitting comfortably. They hold hands, each looking out a window. Sean, look, Rennie, I don't want to upset you, but when the time comes, we have to explain things. Just let me handle it, okay? Rennie.
I don't know if it'll work out that way, but okay.
Episode 1, page 12. Sean. Thank you. Sean pulls Rennie's left hand up and kisses her knuckles. Cut to the docks. Brighter morning. Exterior, street. The yellow taxi cab pulls up to a complete stop. There's a sudden pause, and we just wait. Sean is seen inside the car, handing the driver a wad of bills. Now Rennie steps out slowly. Sean does the same. Both doors slam shut, one right after the other. Now the cab drives on down the road. Rennie waits for Sean, and they take each other's sweaty hands again, walking onto a sidewalk. Exterior, dock 1. Rennie and Sean look out onto the water. There's a tour boat pulling up, much smaller than that of the cruise ship. Sean and Rennie look at each other, then walk up to it. A thin, old captain man walks up to the edge and puts his hands on the rail. He looks down at Rennie and Sean on the dock, looking up at them. Tour boat captain calling down. Good morning. Either of you two wouldn't happen to be looking for a job, would you? Sean, calling up, smiling. As a matter of fact, I am. Tour boat captain calling down. I don't suppose you have any experience there, sonny? Sean, calling up. My father was a captain. The tour boat captain nods for a second, looking at Rennie. Tour boat captain to Sean. Come on up. The captain walks out of sight, and Sean looks at Rennie, looking at him. Sean just shrugs. Rennie smiles at him. Episode 1, page 13. Cut to tour boat, exterior, deck. Rennie stands off to the side. She looks at the water's surface over the edge. Sean and the thin captain stand by the control room door. Tour boat captain. The name's Hank Petty. Sean, putting open hand out. Sean Robertson. Hank, shaking Sean's hand. Well, look, Sean, I can give a day's pay if you really want the job. Sean, hands free. Do we tour around the cities? Hank, mostly to Liberty Island. Sean, smiling. Yes, I kind of figured. My girlfriend Rennie and I were... I was... Hank, interrupting. You want to show your girl a grand sight up close? Looking at Rennie. I'm sure she'll love it. Rennie turns. Eye contact is made. Yes, and... Looking back at Sean. Your father was a captain? Sean. Yes. Looking in the control room. So, when do we get started? Hank, almost laughing. Eager, aren't you? Hand on Sean's shoulder. Come on. Hank leads Sean into the control room. Interior control room. And up to the controls themselves. Sean looks nervous, but for only a moment. Hank stands behind as Sean tightens his lips. He looks back at the captain, looking right at him. A moment's wait, perhaps a little awkward. Episode 1, page 14. Flash 2, a minute later. The tour boat's sailing away from the docks. Sean is seen at the controls, behind the glass overlooking the touring journey waters ahead. Back in the control room itself, Sean is taking the boat on an easy voyage. He's clearly becoming more and more confident. Captain Hank Petty walks up and stands on his left side, looking out with his hands moving behind his back. He looks at Captain Sean Robertson. Hank, atta boy. Cut to sewer system a bit later. Interior, Tunnel 3, badly lit. Jason walks down the mostly unlit way, step after step, coming right at us with all his might and size. With that white and charred hockey mask, a little splash here, a little splash there at his feet. Cut to Times Square above. Exterior, alleyway 2. The punk gang of 4 crowd around the widest area, with a few toxic waste drums standing in corners, windows into the 2 buildings on each side of them, trash on shadowy grounds, and the sunlight high above them, shining atop the tall buildings. The lead punk, a boy with a bandana atop his head, pulls out a needle of some drug or another. It looks like poisonous urine, slightly greenish, yellow. He sticks it in his left forearm. The faces of the other 3 punks just watching, and clearly waiting their turn for a little bit of the good stuff. Pan away from them, over to another grating. Jason's masked face is seen from below. Looking up at them, we notice the stalker beneath, cocking his head to the right in curiosity. A very brief wait, then it's back to the gang. Bandana punk. Free shit's the best. Mohawk punk, taking needle. Yeah, that's right. Episode 1, page 15. Before Mohawk can inject, the 4 are turning to one end of the alley, to a street where a squad car drives by slowly, ever so slowly, possibly checking on the gang. No doubt as the gang creeps back. Eyes on the car, now rolling out of sight. Bandana punk looking to Mohawk. You through? Mohawk punk dropping the needle. Shit. Mohawk crouches down. He grabs the half-empty needle off the sewer lid. There's no one below this time. Mohawk stands back up as the other 3 stand and wait. Bald punk shifting lips. I don't feel like it anymore. That was too close. Bandana punk. Don't be a pussy. Bald punk. I'm serious. The buzz cut punk, the 4th and final punk, looks behind him. Back to the street where the squad car passed by. Buzz cut punk. I don't want to go to jail, fool. Bandana punk, taking needle from bald punk. Whatever. The punks walk away. We pan back down to the sewer lid. Cut to Turbo a bit later, interior control room. Sean is still at the controls. Hank is still by his left side. Yet Rennie is now on his right side. Rennie, excited.
We made it.
Sean, looking at her, big grin. Yeah! Sean quickly looks back at the water between the boat and Liberty Island. The Statue of Liberty is an amazing sight. Episode 1, page 16. Hank. Well done. Sean. Thanks, Hank. It's been a pleasure. Hank. You are taking the job, aren't you? Sean. It all depends if Rennie and I can afford a 1-bedroom apartment someplace close. You think so? Hank. $15 an hour. Sean nods, pulling the boat up to a stop ever so slowly. Hank continued. It's a deal then? Flash 2. The boat halting before Liberty Island. Flash back to our boat control room. Sean lets go of the controls and Hank looks at Hank. Sean. You got a deal. Hank smiles, then Rennie smiles. Hank. It's all open now. Have fun. Walking away. Be ready in an hour. Rennie.
Aren't you coming with us?
The captain is by a door. He opens it and we see a mirror. Hank, looking back. I see it at least once a day. It's great, but now I've got to drop a pound or 2. Hank smiles, stepping in the small room with the mirror. He shuts the door behind him. Episode 1, page 17. Cut to Liberty Island, exterior field. A few storm clouds scattered over the once sunny morning sky. Stepping off the long dock now, and far from the tour boat behind them, Rennie and Sean walk across the way, looking up at the enormous statue, its left side, an awe-stricken pair of faces. Now a slowly moving close-up of the statue's head, back to Rennie and Sean walking around and looking up to it from the front side. They just look up in amazement. Rennie.
It's beautiful.
Another pause. Rennie pulls up the charm necklace and takes a close look at it, grinning. She looks to Sean, who looks at her. Their smiles are gone. Now a deep stare. Sean, eyes locked. You're beautiful. The couple lock lips, a long kiss into the middle of the day. We begin to pan away, then we fade out. The end. Brandon O'Keefe, May 7th, 2008. Episode 2, Gang Stalker. July 29th, 2008. Page 1. We open on Manhattan, New York, sunset. An overlook of the city under the sunset. Cut to Times Square, interior Dives Diner. A 6-foot white male cop stands before the redhead waitress. She's behind the counter, and he's looking down at some blood and glass. He moves around the counter and faces her, sighing. Waitress.
Are you going to let me open?
6 foot officer. I don't see why not, as soon as we get the rest of this cleaned up. Waitress.
You're not going to question me, are you? I've already been through this with your friends.
6 foot officer, low tone. No, I'm just checking on things. More for myself, really. 6 foot officer looks to the back door, a moment's pause, and he looks over to a big hole in the wall. A few pedestrians are passing by, giving it only one look. 6 foot officer continued. You're going to have to cover that hole, turning to waitress, and try to avoid any questions you get regarding the matter. Episode 2, page 2. Waitress, folding arms across chest.
No problem.
The officer smiles, places his cap on his head, and walks towards the hole. He walks through the hole and turns out of sight to the right. Back to the waitress walking around the counter. She's carrying a rack of menus. She walks over to the hole and sets the rack down, faced away from the sidewalk and street. Now she turns back and dusts her hands off. Exterior alleyway, nightfall. 4 punks walk down this dirty and mostly quiet alley, only the sound of their footsteps against the ground. They pass a couple of barrels on the right and a dumpster on the left. A small boy, the bandana punk, leads them, and behind them is a punk with a buzz cut and another with a mohawk. The 4th is bald, and the 4 altogether turn into abandoned building. Cut to abandoned building, 3 stories tall, interior empty room. The 4 punks are looking around. They stand around and face each other. The buzz cut punk starts walking away. Bandana punk to buzz cut. Where you going? Episode 2, page 3. Buzz cut punk. To take a leak. Bandana punk. Well, hurry up. We've got the good stuff. Mohawk punk to bandana punk. No thanks to you. Bandana punk. Yeah, shut up. The buzz cut punk turns the corner, and the remaining 3 find their way to the floor. They sit separately, with a leg buckled under the other. The bandana punk pulls out a bag of marijuana, half full. He opens it now. Interior hallway. Buzz cut is walking down this empty hallway. Nothing but crumpled paper on the ground and graffiti on the walls. He turns the corner into another room. Interior empty room 2, blue lit. This punk sees an open bathroom door across the way. The room is small, but he already spots the toilet. He walks over across the way towards it, with the windows behind him revealing a busy city street several feet away. Buzzcut Punk has about reached the bathroom when something takes hold of his arms. Jason Voorhees stands just as the Buzzcut Punk turns his head with widened eyes. They're full of fear as Jason walks the... Episode 2, page 4. Interior bathroom. Jason struggles slightly as the punk growls, trying to reach back. Grunts from them both in this struggle as Jason slowly moves the Buzzcut Punk's face to the toilet. Buzzcut Punk. What the fuck is your problem? A sudden gasp from the punk as his head is shoved into the toilet. Jason takes the ring with his free left hand and slams it down on the drowning punk's neck. He presses it down with all his might, and now the punk's neck breaks. Jason stands upright. He looks down at the motionless punk. Jason now walks away as urine leaks down from the punk's pant legs and upon the floor. Cut to police station. Meanwhile, a shot of the police station on this quiet night. Interior, officer's office. The 6-foot cop pours from a coffee pitcher into a mug. A blonde female officer is leaned up against his door. Blonde female officer.
How come you get an office?
6-foot officer. Settle down, Penny. Setting pitcher down. You know I'm up for the role of detective. Episode 2, page 5. Penny thins her eyes as the 6-foot officer takes a sip of coffee from his mug. He lowers the mug away from his face.
How's your wife?
6-foot officer. Please, don't ask. Penny, walking away.
And don't you tell me why.
6-foot officer, walking to desk. Right. The 6-foot officer sits down. He sets the half-empty coffee mug down on a coaster. He looks at a stack of papers before him and picks up a black pen. Just then, there's a knock on the open door. A man in a long black coat, but we don't see his face. Male in coat, whistle. Officer Lethal? The 6-foot officer looks up with a straight face. 6-foot officer. That's Lethal, mister. The black male in the coat and hat walk across the way. Male in coat, right hand out. Creighton Duke. Lethal stands up and shakes the strange man's hand. They stop shaking as Creighton looks all around the office. Episode 2, page 6. Lethal. How can I help you? Duke. About 2 days ago, a ship sank off New York's coast. Lethal. That's classified. Who told you? Duke. Penn and I were good friends. Lethal. She's my friend too. Shaking head. She never mentioned you. Duke watches Lidl lift up the mug. He's taking a sip and keeping his eyes locked on the man in the long black coat. Duke. Not that you would. College buddies. Lidl nods, setting down the coffee mug. Duke continued. You know what I think? Lidl. What do you think, Mr. Duke? Duke. That's great. Yes, you can call me Duke. Beat, having a seat. I think I know who was responsible. Lidl. Is that so? Duke. Jason Voorhees. Lidl stares at Duke. Duke stares right back. Episode 2, page 7. Lidl. Sounds familiar. Duke. From Camp Crystal Lake. Lidl looks to the door. I've been visiting this city for the past month, but I'm not far from the lake myself. You see, I've just opened the training compound. Lidl. You train monkeys? Duke. Nodding. And turn them into hunters. Lidl finally walks back around his desk. He sits on the edge just next to Duke. Lidl. Bounty hunters, I imagine. Duke. Head turned to him. Exactly. Lidl turns his head away, staring ahead. He nods a couple of times and then looks back to Creighton Duke. Lidl. I suppose you think Jason's here, in New York? Duke, slowly nodding. I do. Lidl. And you want me to pay to track him down? Duke stares. Okay, I can do that. Duke stands up. Lidl stands up. But I'll be with you every step of the way. Duke, walking to door. Suit yourself. Episode 2, page 8. Lidl follows Duke out of the room. Lidl. I've got paperwork. Duke, voiceover. There's no time to lose. Lidl suddenly has a bright smile and leaves the room, closing the door behind him. Cut to abandoned building, moments later. Interior, empty room 1. The bandana, mohawk, and bald punks are smoking. Puffs escape their lips, and the bandana punk looks around. Bandana punk. Where the heck is he? Bald punk standing up. I'll go find him. The bald punk walks away as the remaining two take another hit of the marijuana. The bald punk now turns the corner. Interior, hallway. The bald punk walks down the way, seemingly in no hurry. He turns the next corner slowly, coming to a stop. Episode 2, page 9. Interior, empty room 2, blue lit. The bald punk looks in, before stepping in with caution in each stride. Across the way, he's approaching the bathroom door. He pushes it open and sees the dead buzz-cut punk. Widened eyes, and the punk puts his clenched fist over his mouth. He turns and runs back across the way. Interior, hallway. He spins around the corner so quickly he almost loses his balance. Now he runs down the hall and turns into interior, empty room 1. The bald punk steps in and halts at the very sight of Jason Voorhees lurking out of the darkness. He raises a lead pipe over his head as the smoking punks blow smoke. Bald punk. Watch it! Bandana punk. Man, I don't have to watch. You! The sitting punks jump up as Jason brings the pipe down. Mohawk punk. Ah! Episode 2, page 10. Blood sprays from a forehead wound, and as the skinny bandana punk runs to the door, next to the bald punk, and they watch as Jason picks the bludgeoned Mohawk punk off the ground. Jason turns to the scared pair and impales the Mohawk boy through the back and out the abdomen. Bandana punk to the bald punk. Run, motherfucker! The bandana punk jets as the Mohawk punk spits blood. The bald punk is frozen in fear as Jason rips the lead pipe out of the Mohawk boy's torso. He drops dead as the bald punk takes a couple steps back. Interior, hallway. The bandana punk reaches the exit door. He twists the knob, but it's jammed. Now he turns back to the bald punk backing up against the wall. The lead pipe comes flying out of the doorway and impales the bald punk through the head. He's stuck to the wall and choking up blood. The bandana punk runs from the door and over towards the grounded bald punk. And then Jason walks out of the room and turns to him, but the bandana punk instantly darts away. Episode 2, page 11. Cut to Times Square, moments later. Exterior, the streets. A squad car pulls up to the diner. A plastic tarp has been put up over the wall hole. Inside are diners at tables. By the car, Creighton Duke opens the passenger side door. He steps out into the night with his long black coat and hat. He closes the door behind him as Officer Lidl gets out of the car from the driver's side. Lidl, shutting door. I think the poor lady's been questioned enough. Duke. Wouldn't want to disturb her. Walking past diner. We're gonna want to check the alleys. Lidl, to Penny in the car. Guard the car. Penny, rolling eyes.
Of course, sir.
Lidl runs around and walks next to Duke on the sidewalk. They pass Dive's diner and then enter an alleyway. Exterior alleyway. Duke and Lidl walk down the way, and they look to a dumpster next to a sewer cap. Lidl pulls his pistol from its hip-side holster. Creighton whips a pistol out from the long black coat. Lidl, looking at pistol. You got a permit? Episode 2, page 12. Creighton whips out a permit. Lidl nods, and Creighton packs it away. He then signals Lidl with a nod of the head. Now the pair head into an extension of this alley. Exterior, alley extension. Duke and Lidl walk down this darker way. Duke. First name? Lidl. It's Wesley. Duke. Can I call you Wesley? Lidl. Sure. The two approach the end of the extension. A four-way intersection. The one ahead leads to a street, and the one to the right leads to another street. The one to the left makes way for another alley extension. Duke nods his head that very way, and the pair head down it. Duke looks up at the dark sky above, and to the edges of each building top. He now pans his head down. Episode 2, page 13. Cut to abandoned building. Interior, empty room 1. The bandana punk hides in the darkness. He holds a single chain in both ends, opposite ends. He creeps back to the wall as footsteps are suddenly heard. Jason enters the room. He looks from side to side, a hockey mask so blackly stained. Now he turns around and stops. Slowly now does the bandana punk walk up behind. Jason spins around and the chain wraps around his neck. The bandana punk jumps up and right foot plants Jason's chest. Jason jerks back and the chain link tears into his neck. Jason takes hold of Bandana Punk's shirt and spins him around once before letting him go. His punk flies back into the darkness. A thud. A grunt. Jason takes hold of the chain and grips it tightly. The bandana punk weakly crawls to the doorway nearest to him. Jason follows in no hurry, and then he whips the punk's back. Episode 2, page 14. Interior hallway. The punk slowly gets to his feet, whimpering, and holding his bloody back. The clothes are torn by the whip of the chain, and then Jason steps into the hall. Another whip of the chain to the punk's back. The bandana punk stumbles ahead towards the door he once tried to escape into. Exterior small lot. A hold on the door, and only 2 seconds later does the bandana punk come smashing through. The door breaks off its hinges and lands next to the punk face first on the ground. Jason steps out with the semi-busy city street before him. He looks down from it to the bleeding kid. The chain slices through the air and wraps around the kid's neck. Jason pulls the chain up and the kid is on his knees, struggling to breathe. He holds the chain which is cutting into his neck. Jason's right foot and leg stab through the kid's back and abdomen. His guts spill out. He's spitting up blood and Jason pulls his... Episode 2, page 15. Interior, squad car. Outside Dive's Diner. Penny crawls into the front seat and taps at the monitor. On the screen, it reads 2 names, Sean Robertson and Reddy Wickham. They're labeled suspects. Penny taps at the monitor buttons again, and another screen pops up. This screen reads, Known address, Village Apartments, Saturday, October 14th, 1989. Penny's eyes light up. Cut to abandoned building. Exterior, small lot, back lot. Creighton and Wesley approach. They see the blood on the ground in the front of the door, still advancing with guns drawn out in front of them. They take one look at each other before entering the building. Interior, hallway. The two head down the way a bit, before turning into interior, empty room 2, blue lit. They walk out into the middle of the room, eyeing the open bathroom. The light is on in there. They walk up and take a good look inside to see nothing. Episode 2, page 16. Duke. We're close. Lidl. You think so? Duke, turning away. Oh yeah. Looking up. In fact, I bet he's waiting for us in one of these very rooms. Lidl's eyes and head dart around. He then watches Duke enter a second hallway. A sight later, and Lidl follows. Interior, hallway 2. The two turn left and head down this hall. Lidl turns behind to the dark corner, backpedaling towards Duke. He then spins around and follows Duke. He turns right into interior, small room. The two enter. They see a window to the right, and a closed door to the left. Duke approaches the closed door, when something is seen moving out of the very first empty room ahead. It's just Penny. Her pistol lowers, and she looks towards Lidl and Duke. They look back at her, and Lidl sighs once more. Lidl. Didn't you see? What's up? Penny.
I think I've found something.
Beat.
2 leopards hiding from us. Survivors from the leather thinking.
Episode 2, page 17. Lidl, interrupting. Sean Robertson and Reddy Wickham, yes. We're still waiting on word on their whereabouts. Penny.
It's already here.
Lidl. What? Duke opens the closed door to an ascending stairwell. Penny and Wesley look to the stairs and then to Duke. Duke. Well, I've got a killer to catch. Right afoot on first step. Anyone want to join me? Lidl nods. Penny nods. Duke continued ascending. Then let's not forget my share. Officers Penny and Lidl follow Duke up the stairwell. Interior, ascending stairwell. The three walk up this way, slowly enough. Interior, top floor, one big room. Duke leads the other two in. They look all around, but it's far too dark to see what's in every corner. 3 windows ahead of them, and Duke steps up. He looks out one of them. Episode 2, page 18. Duke's POV. He looks out into the lot, a pan from one side to the other. Cars pass by on the street just ahead. Out of POV. Duke moves back and looks back to Penny and Wesley standing by. They look to opposite ends of the room. Duke then looks over to his left. Duke. Oh shit. Penny and Wesley look over to see a pile of 4 dead punks. All 4 of them. They approach with haste. Lidl. Pulling walkie-talkie. I'm calling it in. Duke. Kneeling. Just a second. Duke is checking the bodies. A long pause later, and Duke stands up and looks behind Lidl. Jason lumbers out of the darkness, and his arms are stretched out. Duke continued. Wesley, duck! Wesley hits the floor, and Duke opens fire with his pistol. One shot into Jason's chest, and he merely jerks back a bit. Another 2 follow, and Jason stumbles back. Episode 2, page 19. Wesley flips over and is upon his knees. He whips out his gun and opens fire, alongside Penny and Creighton. They fire repeatedly into the torso and limbs of Jason Voorhees. He's not making a sound, but the killer backpedals back into the darkness from which he came. Thud. The sound of him hitting the floor. 3 pistol wielders step over slowly. A very brief pause later, and Jason rises. Arms out in front of him. He stands up. A shot from Duke's gun into the black-stained hockey mask. It's shot off, and Jason stands up. Duke. Heaven help us. Jason stares back at them, maskless. A shot of the hockey mask on the floor, and then pan up to Jason advancing on the slightly cowering 3. Another couple of shots from the 2 officers, and all we hear are a couple of clicks. Their guns are empty. Lidl drops his gun and runs up to Jason. He backhands him across the face with his right hand, though Jason's head just moves to the side a bit. Jason then takes hold of Lidl's arms and throws him towards the stairwell door. Wesley Lidl is now seen falling back down the stairs. The painful grunting sounds of him tumbling down. Penny packs her gun away in its holster. She now stands out in front of Creighton Duke, who aims over her right shoulder. Episode 2, page 20. Duke to Penny as Jason closes in. Stand back! Penny ducks, and Duke opens fire twice more. Bang, bang, click. The gun is empty, but Jason is hit twice more, once in the throat and another in the torso. The disfigured killer drops to his knees, then falls motionless to his right side like a bag of bricks. A chain is just now seen, dropping out of the darkness. Penny runs to the stairwell and looks down. Duke slowly approaches the fallen body, his back to the 4 corpses. Penny, looking down.
Wesley?
There's no answer. We see Wesley Lidl at the bottom of the stairs unconscious, his limbs aimed every which way. Penny continued.
Wesley?
Still no answer. Duke turns away from Jason and is now walking towards Officer Penny. She turns back around and sees Jason rising in the shadows. Duke is unaware. Penny concluded.
Duke, get out of the way.
Episode 2, page 21. Duke spins around and kicks Jason in the chest. Jason stumbles back a few feet, almost falling out the window. Then Penny runs up and jumps up in the air, her right leg out in front of her, and she kicks Jason in the head, and it jerks back so fast we hear the sound of his neck cracking. Penny lands on all 4s, and the 2 look up to see Jason back out the middle window. Exterior, small lot. Jason falls and flips around once before ultimately landing flat on his back. Falling glass shards rains down upon him. Pan up to Duke, walking up to the broken window. He looks down. Interior, top floor. Duke turns his head back to Penny standing there. Duke. Nice work. Penny nods and the 2 take a last look at the dead bunks. Flash to small room below. Duke and Penny are helping Wesley up. He moans a bit, but soon regains control. He looks up the stairs. Lidl. We got him? Duke. Yeah. Thank Penny. Episode 2, page 22. Wesley puts his hand out. Penny smiles and the 2 officers shake hands. Blood dribbles out Wesley's mouth. Lidl to Penny. You could be running for that position. Duke. Is that an ass-kicking position, Missy? Lidl raises his right eyebrow. Penny laughs a little. Duke suddenly moves away. Lidl wraps his arm around Penny, and the 2 walk into the next room. Interior, empty room 1. They pass by this room slowly. Penny.
You know I can't forget to thank my boys. It's so nice to have you both by my side after all these years. I know you two don't know each other very well, but I get so emotional when two good paths return to me.
The three enter the next room. Interior, hallway 1. The three turn right, towards the exit at the end. Lidl. Creighton's a good guy. To Duke. You a family man? Duke. Yes, I am. Episode 2, page 23. Lidl. Well, so am I. Now that we have something in common, the three of us can be friends. What do you say? Duke. Hand out. I know a place. We can all have dinner sometime. We still have some business. Frozen. Aye. Lidl. I'll leave it to the big wigs. Duke and Penny rushed past Wesley, who was just laughing. Lidl continued. What? Ha ha! Exterior, small lot. Shattered glass and blood, no body. Lidl walks out to Duke, and Penny staring down. Duke looks up to a squad car pulling up. A male officer stands up and closes the door behind him. He walks over to Lidl, holding his back. Male officer. You don't mind if I join the party, do you? Penny calling out.
Patrick, what are you doing?
Lidl, holding back. Hospital, please. Patrick, the kid officer, nods a couple of times. Episode 2, page 24. Cut to Village Apartments. Later. Exterior, second story, walkway. A knock at door 28. The door opens. Interior, room 28, living room. Sean Robertson stands before Duke, Penny, and Patrick. Patrick. Sean Robertson. We need you and Rennie down at the station. I think you know what this is about. Duke places his hand on Patrick's right shoulder. Rennie enters the room and slowly approaches Sean. She wraps her arms around his waist. Sean, looking at Rennie. We just got settled. Penny.
This can't wait.
Duke. We just wanted to let you know that we got him. Rennie.
Jason.
Duke nods. He hands over his card. Creighton Duke, bounty hunter. Rennie takes it and Sean takes a deep breath. Penny smiles. The three visitors now walks away. Sean and Rennie embrace. Slight relief grins on their faces. The end. Episode 3, Case File. August 18th and December 18th and 19th, 2008. Page 1. We open on Manhattan, New York, sunset. Exterior, Village Apartments, early morning. Upon a stairwell, now up to a door. Interior, living room. Rennie is sitting on the couch with her back to the window. She's watching her dog, Toby, with a smile, as he sniffs the new apartment carpet. Now Toby urinates before the television stand. Still smiling, Rennie shakes her head, now sitting up as Toby runs away. Just then, Sean walks in dressed in a suit. Rennie, turning to him.
No breakfast.
Sean, straightening collar. Can't be late for my first day. Rennie walks over and straightens his collar for him. Rennie.
You'll do fine.
Sean, I don't have a choice if we want to keep this place. Rennie.
Toby likes it too.
Sean looks over her shoulder and sees the piss stain. He laughs. They kiss quickly and then they embrace tightly. Episode 3, page 2. Sean. Yeah, that's good. Opening door. See you later. Rennie.
Bye.
Sean steps out the door, closing it behind him. Rennie turns back to the TV stand to see Toby creeping up. Toby starts sniffing the piss stain and Rennie claps her hands together. Toby runs away again. Cut to Liberty Island. Caption, Thanksgiving 1989. The Statue of Liberty is in sight. A tourist ship is just arriving and about 8 passengers aboard. Cut to tourist ship. Exterior deck. Sean Robertson is seen at the wheel in the control room and at the controls. Hank Petty is beside him, but we turn from them to the 4 men and 4 women on the deck. Sean. VO intercom. Statue of Liberty, everybody. Enjoy. Episode 3, page 3. Interior, cabin. Sean turns to Hank as the passengers begin to leave. Sean continued to Hank. I'm taking Rennie out for Thanksgiving. Any suggestions? Hank. I was thinking about taking my wife out to the Sunset Grill. We could all 4 go if you'd like. Sean. Yeah, okay, that's, yeah. Pulling gold ring out. I was kind of going to, Hank, nodding. You're going to propose to her. Sean nods, and Hank puts his right hand on Sean's left shoulder. Sean smiles, shoving the ring back in his pocket. Cut to subway, moments later. Interior, waiting station. A small, dirty waiting station. There's no one down here, and it's dark. But now footsteps are heard. We see a man in a business suit step down. looking at the watch on his left wrist. He carries a newspaper in his right hand. Episode 3, page 4. Now the man looks to his right, spotting a bench. He walks over and has a seat. He opens the newspaper up to about the midsection, starting to read. He flips the page once, a moment's pause, then he flips it again. Now a sudden rustling in the far, dark corner to his right. The man turns his head and peers into the darkness. Now the man sits up and starts walking back up to the stairs. Footsteps behind him. The businessman drops the newspaper. He turns back around and steps into the middle of the station. He looks into the dark corner again. Businessman. Who is that? No answer. The man looks at his watch again, briefly, now stepping closer. Businessman approaching. Don't fuck around with me, kid. I'll kick your dumb ass. The man stops at a rat emerging from the corner. The businessman laughs, shaking his head. Then he turns to Jason, taking him by the arms, clapping down, and throwing him onto the tracks. The man is electrocuted to death. Episode 3, page 5. Then 2 car doors open, and someone whistles. Rennie turns around. Penny Bassett stands by the driver's side door of a squad car. We pan away from her, over the roof of the car, to a black-haired white woman in a nice suit. Penny.
Remember me, Rennie?
Rennie waves.
Yeah. My name is Luan Jones, Miss Wickham. I'm with Case 5.
Stepping away from car.
I'd like to speak with you.
Rennie.
I'll just put these groceries away.
Penny, reaching for police radio.
We'll need to take you down to the station.
Rennie.
Okay.
Rennie smiles, turning back to head for the door. She's got a baffled look on her face. Interior kitchen dining room. Rennie sets the 2 bags on the counter. She rips them open, and a big bag of dog food is revealed next to a 12-pack of Coke and 3 frozen pizzas. Toby walks around the corner wagging his tail. Rennie walks over to the phone on the wall, picking it off the receiver. She begins to dial a number. Episode 3, page 7. Cut to tourist ship, interior cabin. Sean is staring dead ahead, steering the ship towards Manhattan. A phone rings, and Hank Petty picks it up. Hank. Hello? A pause. Hold on. Handing phone to Sean. It's Rennie. I'll take the wheel. Hank takes the wheel as Sean takes the phone. Sean, smiling. Rennie? What's up? Cut to Village Apartments, interior kitchen dining room. Rennie sighs, turning to look out the window over the couch. Rennie.
Sean, they want me down at the police station. They say they want to talk about me. I think we both know what they really want.
Sean, VO. Just answer the questions and try not to sound crazy. Pause. Because we're not. Rennie.
Okay.
Sean, VO. Call me again if you really need to. But how about we go out tonight for Thanksgiving? Just you, me, the captain and his wife. Episode 3, page 8. Rennie, pausing at first.
Sure. Sure sounds good.
Cut to tourist ship, interior cabin. Sean stares out the window upon the deck at about 15 tourists. Rennie, VO, continued.
See you tonight, Sean. I love you.
Sean, alright, love you too. Sean hangs up the phone. He faces Hank, face to the window. Hank, what was that about? Sean, I'll need an advance. Hank, digging in pocket. Sure thing. Stepping away with wallet out. Don't forget to take the wheel. Sean darts to the wheel and takes control as Hank sets a $100 bill down before him. Now Hank walks towards the cabin's exit. Now out to the tourists with his arms up. Episode 3, page 9. Cut to police station, afternoon, interior, office floor. Rennie has a seat before Officer Penny's desk. Penny opens a box of donuts as reporter Luann Jones passes her by. Penny, to Rennie.
Donuts?
Rennie.
No. Thank you.
Luann.
So, how are you?
Rennie.
Fine.
Penny.
Down to business. We'll get you out of here in no time.
Leaning closer.
Soon. Tell us.
Rennie.
You want to know what happened?
Luann sets a tape player down between Rennie and the officer. She presses record. Penny.
We know you tried to explain this to an officer a while back. After checking on it, well, our ears are open now. So now's the time.
Rennie.
Okay. You've heard of Jason Voorhees.
Luann.
I'm from Ohio, too. I've heard the stories.
Episode 3, page 10. Penny.
Everyone's heard about the Crystal Lake murders.
Rennie.
I didn't believe them until he showed up.
Penny, looking down at open file.
We know the Lazarus ship you were on is under some pressure now. Divers are scavenging.
Looking up.
Must have been terrifying.
Rennie, teary-eyed.
It was.
Luann.
How did you make it?
Rennie.
Lifeboat. Jason followed us here.
Penny.
Are you saying he's in the city now?
Nodding.
Because people have been dying in record numbers since the sinking we've found. Ooh.
Leaning in.
Between us.
Rennie looks to Luann and back to Penny. Penny continued.
I've seen him.
Luann.
I haven't yet, on the other hand.
Rennie.
What?
Penny.
Have to keep it low-key, but
Whispering.
I'm on your side.
At Luann.
We're on your side.
Episode 3, page 11. Luann.
I plan to make a big story out of this someday. I've been instructed to wait, so we'll just have to see.
Rennie.
There's nothing more I can tell you.
Standing up.
Doesn't sound like I can be of much help anyway.
Penny.
You're free to go. We just don't want you to be afraid to call if you need us.
Handing call over.
Call me. It's my personal number.
Rennie, taking card.
If I need anything.
Penny, as Luann advances.
Luann will take you home. Meanwhile, we'll be on the lookout.
Rennie follows Luann away from Penny. Penny looks over the case files before her. She grabs a donut as we pan in on one of the headline pictures. Crystal Lake Mystery reads above a picture of a hockey mask. Cut to downtown street. We follow cars driving slowly and tightly packed next to each other. Pedestrians, by the dozens, are moving like a swarm on the sidewalks. Episode 3, page 12. Interior, Luann's car. Luann is driving. Rennie looks out at all the people. Rennie, staring out window.
You're from Ohio.
Luann.
Yeah. American case file.
Rennie.
You're looking for a story.
Luann.
The Camp Crystal Lake killer stalks in New York City. It's not like I don't have a heart, but I really need this story.
Looking at her.
You can help me. I need you to help me.
Rennie, pausing.
What do you want me to do?
Luann.
An interview is all I need. How about tonight?
Rennie.
Not tonight.
Luann.
Thanksgiving plans? I understand.
Rennie.
Do you have any?
No answer from Luann. She just fakes a smile. Rennie continued.
Maybe we can do it tonight. My boyfriend and I are going out with another couple.
Episode 3, page 13. Luann.
I don't have a boyfriend.
Rennie.
Come on. That doesn't matter.
Luann, smiling again.
Okay, you got it.
Rennie looks out the window to see a man stop to scratch his ass. Rennie turns back to Luann, who saw it too. They laugh, smiling wide. Cut to Sunset Grill, sunset. Exterior, alleyway. A black man in a trench coat steps up to another man in an apron. The apron man is leaning up against the wall with his arms crossed over his chest. He looks up a ladder and then back down to the approaching man. Pimp. She waiting? Cook. You need to find another place to do your business. There's been a witness or two complaining. Pimp. No, there hasn't. Cook. Okay, maybe I'm just a little edgy. I'm serious. The pimp pulls out his wallet, opening it up. Episode 3, page 14. Cook. Continued. Not this time. This is the last time. The pimp looks angered. She's waiting. The apron man opens the side entrance to the building and enters the kitchen. Interior kitchen. A phone rings by the door. The apron man picks it up. Cook. Into phone. Sunset Grill. Cut to docks. Sean stands by Hank Petty at a payphone before the docks. Hank. This is Hank Petty. I need a reservation for 4. Cook. VO. Okay, Hank. Glad to have you back. You take care. See you in an hour. Pause. Later. The cook hangs up the phone. Exterior alleyway. The black pimp climbs up the ladder. We pan down to the back alley to see 2 feet in big black shoes. Pan up to 2 black torn pant legs spotted with blood. Episode 3, page 15. Exterior rooftop. Nightfall. The pimp steps off the ladder and looks around. In one of the far dark corners, he spots a black woman cradling herself. The pimp smiles in his approach. Pimp. Hello, Candace. Candace weeps in the darkness. The pimp steps up to her. Pimp continued. Where is she? Candace.
I lost her. By that diner.
Pimp. Bad news, I hear. Very upsetting. The pimp slaps Candace flat on the ground. He then picks her up and rips open her shirt, revealing 2 breasts. Candace, sobbing.
Don't do this.
Pimp. You were supposed to look out for her. Now all I've got is you. Later top her flat. You have to learn, bitch. You watch the pimp squeeze Candace's breasts, then hear footsteps coming up from behind. Candace cries as her pimp reaches down towards her legs. Then the pimp is pulled off of her, and Candace looks up to see Jason holding him high over his head. Episode 3, page 16. So Candace quickly covers herself in her rags of clothing, crawling away. The pimp grunts in confusion and pain. Then a scream out of his mouth as Jason cracks the pimp's back. Blood out of his mouth. Then the body's ripped in half. Jason throws the corpse halves down, then spins around to Candace by the ladder. One last look at Jason before she climbs down. Her cries are soon unheard. Cut to village apartments. Nearly an hour later. Interior kitchen dining room. Rennie pours dog food into a dog bowl on the ground. Toby walks up and begins eating. Rennie rises, walking into interior living room, where Luann watches the television on the couch. An episode of American Case File, muted. Luann.
He asked me out once. I could be dating him.
Rennie looks to a man reporting. Rennie.
Maybe he's not your type.
Suddenly, the door opens. Sean walks in. Sean, you ready? They kiss. Let's go. Who's this? Episode 3, page 17. Luann, standing up.
Luann Jones. American Case File.
Rennie.
I invited her.
Sean, shaking Luann's hand. It's cool, but we gotta get going. We got a reservation. Sean looks to Toby turning away from his dish, chewing dog food. Sean smiles, now walking back out the door. Luann follows him, and Rennie grabs the door handle. Rennie.
Bye, Toby.
Toby barks as Rennie closes the door. Toby has his head turned away from his food, with wide eyes on the door. Then he returns to the dish. Exterior parking lot. Sean, Rennie, and Luann cram into the idling Chevy truck. Interior Chevy truck. Hank at the wheel. Who's this? Sean. Welcome to Fifth Wheel, Hank. Hank, nice to meet you. Meet my wife, Karen. Episode 3, page 18. Karen turns around from the passenger seat. Karen, shaking Luann's hand.
Hi.
Luann.
I'm starving. Where are we going?
Hank. The Sunset Grill. Best grill of the Big Apple. Flash to parking lot. We watch the Chevy truck speed out of the parking lot and down the quiet street, towards a much busier street. Cut to Sunset Grill, moments later. Exterior parking lot. The Chevy truck pulls into this fenced-in area. It swerves around a couple of parked cars, then parks itself. Pan away to the black whore Candace, hiding behind a car in the far corner. She crouches as the truck doors open. Interior dining floor. A big dining floor, well lit. Luann has a seat next to Rennie and Sean, just settling in. And across from Hank and Karen Penny. Settling in just the same. Suddenly, a waiter steps up with the menu. Episode 3, page 19. Waiter, can I take your order? Flash 2, moments later. The waiter arrives with a cart of food. Hank laughing over a glass of wine, his arm over his wife's shoulder. Luann, smiling bright.
You fired him.
Hank, he wasn't worth the time, pointing at Sean. But this guy here, I have a good feeling about this guy. Rennie, grabbing glass of wine.
Sean.
Sean, I guess I'm doing pretty good. Hank, damn right you are, kid. Luann.
Well, it's funny.
To Sean.
I don't mean to pry, but weren't you on the ladder as when it was sinking?
Sean's eyes light up. He looks at Rennie. Rennie.
Maybe now isn't the time.
The waiter's eyes shift as he sets a plate of steak before the Petty couple. Karen, sipping wine.
A Lazarus. What?
Episode 3, page 20. Hank, a ship of yours, Sean? Sean, my dad's. Let's not talk about it now. Rennie, kindly.
There'll be another time, Luann.
Waiter. Interesting conversation. Will that be all now? Hank. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The waiter sets 3 plates before the other 3 customers. Spaghetti before Rennie and Sean, and a cheeseburger before the reporter. The waiter leaves. Luann.
I don't want to spoil our dinner. This will just take a moment.
Rennie quickly finishes a half glass of wine.
Jason Voorhees returns again for another massacre. But no one ever seems to stay alive long enough to say anything.
Karen.
Jason Voorhees. Camp Crystal Lake, right?
Luann.
That's right, Karen. I'm a reporter, and I know these 2 have seen him.
Hank, raising eyebrow at Sean. You have, Sean? Sean, sighing. So much for a fresh start. Episode 3, page 21. Interior kitchen. The cook looks after the grill. 1 steak and 3 pieces of chicken. 3 knocks at the side entrance door. The cook looks up and sighs. He walks over and opens the door. Cook. Candace? No, no! Candace, weeping.
Please.
Cook. No money, no favors, I told him. Looking behind him briefly, turning back. I told Pink Daddy I'm through. Shoving Candace back. Get out of here! The cook slams the door. Exterior alleyway. Candace runs away crying. Interior dining floor. Rennie.
You guys want to hear this story before dinner?
Luann, excited.
Yes. Tell us.
Beat.
Think about it. The infamous Hockey Master serial killer here on the streets of New York City.
Episode 3, page 22. Hank, to Rennie and Sean. You two don't believe that, do you? Come on. Nearby diners start to look over in curiosity. Luann.
My god friend says she saw him, too. Even got a cop in the hospital with a back injury, and she says Jason did it to him. Poor bastard, probably paralyzed in bed as we speak.
Rennie looks shocked.
Imagine the money involved in this story.
Pulling camera.
If I can just get a picture.
Rennie, fed up, leaning in.
You reporters are all the same. You never care about anything but the next story.
Sean. Maybe not all reporters. Rennie's right about you. Hank. Yeah, you should take it easy, Luann. Karen.
Have a little more respect.
Luann.
Ha. Ha 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 ha, way to ruin Thanksgiving, right? Ha ha.
Interior kitchen. Jason breaks down the door. The cook turns wide-eyed from the grill, and to him as the killer advances. Cook, what the? Grabbing cleaver. Don't make me do this! Episode 3, page 23. The cook swings the cleaver down into Jason's right shoulder. Jason takes the hand and crushes it with a squeeze of his right hand. Jason then takes the moaning cook by the back of the neck. He throws the cook onto the grill and viciously closes it down on him. The cook is grilled alive with shaking, bleeding limbs hanging out. Suddenly, a waitress walks in with an immediate gasp. Jason turns around and drives the cleaver vertically into her gut. Interior, employee counter hall. Jason steps out and overlooks the suddenly screaming customers. They jump out of their seats and head for the exit. Mass panic ensues. Jason breathes heavily, his head darting up to all around evading people on the dining floor. Then Jason turns his attention to the opposite end. The waiter walks by, clearly pissed off. Waiter. What the fuck, shithead? Seeing waitress. Oh! The waiter turns as Jason rips the cleaver out of the waitress's stomach. Luann comes running up beyond the counter, taking a picture through the passing crowd. Jason chucks the cleaver at the evading waiter, and the waiter drops. The cleaver blade dug into the back of his head. Blood pours out onto the floor. Episode 3, page 24. More screams, more customers leaving. Jason's head darts to Luann face to face beyond the counter. She takes another picture, a flash on Jason's mask. Face. Now Rennie and Sean run up. They take Luann by an arm each. Luann, under her breath.
It's him.
Sean and Rennie pull Luann away as Jason cocks his head at the familiar faces. Now Jason turns and walks down the counter hall. He steps on the waiter's corpse. Interior dining floor. Jason passes by the nearly cleared and mostly messy room. He looks from side to side at all the mess, heading for the front exit. Tires are heard screeching from the parking lot to the right outside. Interior kitchen. The cook's blood spills out of the grill and upon a microwave. A moment's pause as the blood drips off the counter edge. Sparks light up and the microwave explodes. Fire burns and now we're upon the propane tank below. Exterior parking lot. Sunset grill blows sky high. We follow Jason's flaming corpse from afar. as it soars across the semi-busy streets, halting vehicles and gasping pedestrians. Jason smashes through a second-story window. Glass shards drop to the sidewalk. A couple of fiery cars on the street. We fade out on the burning restaurant. The end. Episode 4. Evidence is a Body. December 21st to 23rd, 2008. Page 1. We open on Manhattan, New York, night. Exterior apartment tower. An apartment tower right next to an office complex, just as tall. 6 stories each. Citizens below walk past each other, in and out of the 2 buildings. We close in on the 6-story apartment window. A light is shining through. Interior apartment room, wide living room. A pair of nunchucks on a nightstand by the door. Pan over to Luann Jones on the phone next to the refrigerator. Luann.
Robert, I need you.
Robert, VO. That's not what you said when I asked you out, if I recall. Luann.
This story is mine. And when I get back there...
Robert, VO, interrupting. You'll be back after Christmas. Luann.
I may need more time.
Page 2. Cut to Springwood, Ohio, night. Exterior, Crave Inn. Robert Campbell has a cheeseburger in one hand and a payphone receiver in the other. He's looking down at his food. Robert. I can't believe you think he's in New York. He's dead. 10 miles from here, buried or something. Taking a bite, chewing. You act like you're the first to report this, son of a bitch. Cut to Manhattan, New York. Interior apartment tower. Luann's apartment. Luann stares at her window. Curtains open. Luann.
Don't talk with your mouth full, dear. I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
Luann hangs up the phone. Cut to back alleys the next morning. Caption, December 24th, 1989. Snow is slowly falling from the cloud-covered sky. Between these buildings, crunching from feet to snow is heard. We see Candace the whore turn away from a pedestrian passing by on the sidewalk before her. Page 3. Candace ducks behind a snow-coated dumpster. She's sinking down and shivering. She pulls the needle out from her upper rags, barely covering her breasts. She looks to one far end of the back alley and begins to inject the mysterious liquid content in her right forearm. Cut to costume shop. Moments later, nearby. Pan in on the small costume shop surrounded by much taller buildings. Heavily coated citizens pass by as we enter through the glass just over the sign reading, Open. Interior bathroom. Just past a rack of bizarre suits, into this bathroom where a middle-aged man is scrubbing the toilet on his knees with a toilet brush. A quick sigh. Then the sound of the front door opening. The shop owner now flushes the toilet. Interior, costume floor. The middle-aged man walks out, past the silver hockey mask at knees height across from the bizarre suit rack. He's headed for the counter with an effortless smile to a couple, a young man and his woman. Young man. Yo, do you have a Joker costume, man? Costume shop owner. Sold out, sorry. Page 4. Young man, snowballing the owner. Yeah, eat it! The shop owner is snowballed in the face as the couple run out laughing. The shop owner pulls a bullwhip, jumping over the counter. Exterior, sidewalk, snowfall. The shop owner holds the door open and holds the whip higher over his head, clearly angered. He stares at the couple running away, but the woman stops her man to turn back and flip the shop owner off with her left finger, which she then proceeds to suck on. The shop owner shows his teeth. Shop owner headed back. Motherfuck! Interior costume floor. The shop owner flips the open sign to its opposite side reading closed. He then walks around the counter and approaches a phone underneath. He picks it up, dropping the bullwhip. He proceeds to dial a 3-digit number. Interior back room. A floor shot of the door opening in, and from the snowy back alley, 2 black legs moving in slowly. This tall, obviously male figure closes the door behind him. Page 5. Interior costume floor. The shop owner almost growls at the passing New Yorkers, men and women, to which one woman looks right in at him through the display window. She's gone a second later. Costume shop owner on phone. Yeah, thanks. The man slams the phone down on the receiver. Then he hears the bathroom door close. He whips around, staring at a tag on the floor. The owner picks his whip off the floor and walks over hastily. He kneels down and picks up the tag, reading Silver Hockey Mask, 1999. He now looks at the closed bathroom door with a gawk of disbelief. Costume shop owner, pounding on door. Okay, asshole, come on out of there. No answer. Just called the police. So now it's your move. Beat. What are you gonna do, huh? The man is just reaching for the door handle when suddenly a giant left fist breaks the hole in the door, sending the man with his back against the back room wall. The door is torn off its hinges from the inside. Custom shop owner sinking. What the fuck? Page 6. He's pulled in just before we cut back to the display window. Another man passes by with his smiling young son. They peer in for a glance before spotting the closed sign. Then the two move on through the snowfall. Interior back room. The mirror shatters. We look into the broken glass to see Jason pulling a white, black-stained hockey mask over the shop owner's screaming face. We also see Jason facing his toxic disfigurement, distorted from the broken mirror. Jason proceeds to press the mask down upon the face, now into the face, as the screams grow louder and still muffled. Blood squirts from the mouth holes. The shop owner drops dead, his face something horrid we know, at this point beyond the mask. Jason reaches down, picking up another mask, the silver hockey mask. He places it over his own face as we close in on the distorted reflection. The killer is looking at himself, but only for a moment as he now departs. Cut to hospital, downtown. Interior, Wesley Little's room. Patrick and Penny Bassett stand before bedridden cop Wesley Little. He's twisting his back comfortably and grunting. Page 7. Little. Yeah, that feels better. They say I'll be out of here tomorrow. Penny.
We're glad you're feeling better, Lito.
Suddenly, static on Patrick's radio communicator. Male police dispatch VO. Some call from that costume shop. You know, by that Mexican restaurant? No emergency, but we do need someone to run by there. Patrick picks up the communicator off his belt. Patrick. That's not far off. Enter communicator. This is Patrick Bassett. My sister and I will take this one. Patrick fastens the communicator back on his belt. Male police dispatch VO. Okay, over and out. Cut to costume shop. A little later. Interior costume floor. Penny pukes away from the smashed bathroom door. A taco is on the floor. And now we pan up her brother Patrick as he stuffs his face with the soft taco. A stare at the corpse. Penny, wiping mouth.
I think I'm going to be sick.
Page 8. Upon the white mask cracked in half, the smashed face of the shop owner is partially revealed. Patrick chewing taco. A heck of a way to spend Christmas. Penny staring down at mask.
Don't want to notify forensics just yet.
Kneeling down.
You know what this reminds me of, Patrick?
Picking up mask halves.
What do you think about it?
Patrick. Oh no, not him. We slowly pan into the back room as Penny continues. Penny in disgust.
Do you think we have enough to start seeing something now?
Patrick, VO. I don't know, maybe. You really think it's him? But all we have are 3 scared cops and a bounty hunter that skipped town. Exterior, back alley. Pan in on the dumpster just by the open back entrance. Page 9. Interior, dumpster. Candace opens the lid to hear voices entering the back room. Through the barely open door. Penny, VO.
Luann believes us too.
Patrick, VO. Luann Jones? Your old friend? Interior, back room, costume shop. Penny and Patrick are looking over the small office space. Penny.
I know you had a crush on her way back when.
Picking up a stress ball.
She's at that apartment complex. By the big tree.
Patrick sneezing. Let's get going before I get sick. Walking out. We'll notify the team. But you need to buy me some cold medicine. Penny sighs. She follows her brother out of the room. A long pause and a pan towards the back entrance. Penny, VO.
This is Penny Bassett. We need assistance at the costume shop. Dead body in the bathroom. Over and out.
Patrick, VO. Maybe right about the killer, Penny. The voices stop and the door is opened wider. Page 10. Interior, costume floor. Candace creeps out of the back room and stops. Just ahead, across the way, do Penny and Patrick watch a taxicab pass. Penny looks from side to side. Then she runs across the snow-layered street to a grocery center. Candace moves into the bathroom as Patrick sneezes. Through the display window, Patrick turns back to glance at the now quiet sales floor. His sister Penny enters the store across the street. Patrick faces the street on guard. Interior bathroom. Crying over the corpse. Candace takes off her upper rags. Candace quietly weeping.
I'm sorry.
Her chest revealed, Candace begins to tear the dead body's shirt off. She stands up and puts it on. The poor black girl then bundles her rags and steps out of the room. Exterior, back alley, light snowfall, noon. The sun isn't shining so bright behind the storm clouds. Candace steps out and moves past the dumpster. Out of our sight. We now notice from afar a figure. Jason peeking around another alley corner. Our view faded by the snow. In this one dramatic glance, the killer watches the horror. Page 11. Cut to Christmas tree lot, nightfall. Exterior, lot bench. The snow has stopped falling. It's covered the entire lot and the surrounding streets and sidewalks. Pedestrians are running home for the night with family presents in their arms. A small group of kids ice skate in the slot rink. On the bench, Luann and Candace are seated and watching. A Santa Claus is nearby ringing a silver bell, shouting, Santa Claus, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas! Candace to Luann.
I'm no hope.
Luann.
Well, I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Taking a deep breath.
Now you say you know my friend Penny. What is it exactly you want?
Candace.
I heard you were in the middle of a story, and since I had nowhere to go, I was thinking.
Luann.
You would give me my story in return for a place to stay.
Smiling.
Well, I'll tell you what, Candace was it?
Candace nods, bright-eyed.
You give me an interview and you can stay at my apartment until the new year.
Standing up off bench.
I'll be leaving tomorrow, but it's paid off until then.
Candace standing up.
Okay, great.
Page 12. Luann, arm over her shoulder.
And if you're really homeless, I suggest you find an honest job soon.
Almost laughing.
There's just one thing, something crucial, before I can trust you.
Luann and Candace stare at the towering, brightly lit and wonderfully decorated Christmas tree before them. Luann continued.
What's my story about?
Candace.
I Sam him. Jason Voorhees.
Cut to apartment tower. Interior, Luann's apartment. The pair enter the apartment. Luann first, Candace following with an instant look around. Luann closes the door and leads Candace to the kitchen. Interior, kitchen. Luann pulls a wicker basket from the refrigerator top. She pulls out 2 photographs and slaps them on the counter. Luann.
That's him. The Crystal Lake killer, we think, has found his way here in this city.
Candace holding pictures up.
The Sunset Grill fire last month, so you were there.
Luann.
Were you?
Page 14. Interior living room. Candace and Luann head over to the couch. Candace opens the bottle of wine, pushing her right hip out, a sexy, perhaps slutty stance. Luann picks up a Bible. Luann.
I'm trying to read this, but I never have the time.
Candace.
You into Jesus?
Luann nods.
Me too.
Luann, holding book out.
I want you to have it.
Suddenly, an arm punches through the door. Candace and Luann dart their heads towards the hockey mask maniac, smashing down the door. Luann continued.
Jason.
Slow motion. Candace throws the bottle of wine across the room. We watch it spin towards Jason. In slow motion, the bottle smashes in Jason's face, and the killer drops back in the hall. Luann grabs Candace by the shoulders and pushes her to the open doorway. Page 15. Interior 6-story hallway. Luann grabs her nunchucks, stepping out of the room. They step right over Jason's body as his right arm clutches the whip he was holding. He turns up and the girls scream, running just as Jason whips at the hall, narrowly missing Luann. Now Jason gets up. Luann, holding Candace by the hand.
Come on.
Luann and Candace are running down the hall screaming. A little old lady opens her door to see, just as a much younger man does right across from her. They look at each other, then turn Jason's way as he walks forth. Apartment man. Wrong holiday, buddy. Jason pulls the whip back and swings it right back at the man's face. The young man drops to the floor dead with a diagonal cut running from chin to forehead. The old lady screams and Jason stops to look at her. She's speechless, back up against her open doorway. She looks into Jason's silver mask eye holes, and he stares right back. Then Jason continues. As he passes, the old lady holds her chest and drops in the hall dead. Page 16. Exterior sidewalk, across from Tree Lot. Luann and Candace run hand in hand out of the complex. They run right past Santa Claus digging in his car. He pulls up, and Candace squints her face at him. She's crying and weeping towards him. Candace.
Help us.
Santa Claus, out of car. Get lost. The Santa Claus holds up a silver bell in his right hand, slamming the right back door to his piece of shit car. Luann squeezes Candace's right hand tight, and they move on. Cut to office complex, interior front doors. The two girls head in. The door slowly closes behind them. Back to Santa Claus ringing his silver bell. Then he turns to Jason stepping out of the apartment complex. Santa Claus. Oh, perfect. Ice rink behind him. The kids don't have sticks or pucks, but nice suit. They'll love it. Jason walks right past the Santa, following the footsteps in the snow. The Santa Claus sighs. He starts to follow Jason with his silver bell ringing. Santa Claus continued. I'm talking to you bastard. Hey! Page 17. Jason spins around and whips the bell out of the Santa Claus's hand. The Santa Claus starts backing up with a whine as Jason steadily advances. Santa holds a severely bleeding right hand, then looks back up to Jason, who's got a hold of his throat. Santa Claus concluded. No, no. Now Santa is thrown up to a second-story apartment room by the throat. Glass shatters. Immediately a woman screams. Cut to apartment complex. Interior, second-story family apartment. A woman on the couch covered in glass jumps up, screaming at the top of her lungs. The kids look up from their 8-foot decorated Christmas tree and before wrapped gifts. The little boy and girl scream at the top of their lungs. Hand to Santa Claus, impaled halfway in on the bloody glass shards. Cut to office complex. Interior, front offices. Entire floor. Jason jumps through the glass front door. Smash. He looks from side to side in the darkness. A scan of the entire floor. Desks and cubicle walls. File cabinets and tables topped with printers. Page 18. Jason moves out into the middle of the room, slowly. His masked face jerks to the right, and then to the left. He knows his targets are here. I'll walk by the cubicles. Just then, Luann jumps out from behind the killer. She smacks him in the back of the head with her nunchuck. A jerk forwards, and Jason spins around breathing heavily. Jason tears the nunchucks out of her hand and rips it in two. The nunchuck pieces drop, and Jason shoves Luann in the chest. She drops to the ground, grunts in pain. Now Candace comes up from behind Jason. Another sneak attack, and Candace drives her drug needle directly into the psycho killer's neck. Jason growls, elbowing Candace off his back. Candace soars back into a cubicle wall. The wall falls over, and Jason tears the needle out of his neck. Jason's POV. Through the eye holes, Jason turns his head down at Luann. She's crawling away in fear. Our vision now turns psychedelic as colorful shapes are presented. Blue, red, and yellow. It's almost like looking through. Page 19. Out of POV. Jason slams his right foot down at the reporter. However, she rolls that way and jumps to her feet. She roundhouse kicks Jason across the face, and Jason's head jerks around. He begins to step back as Luann grabs a pen off a desktop. Luann.
Candace, get out of here. Run.
Candace gets up and stumbles away. Luann lunges at Jason, kicking him in the chest. Jason drops back and brings down another cubicle wall. Luann turns back to the entrance to see a few children in coats peeking in. They immediately run away. Luann turns back to Jason. At a slant, Luann is atop Jason in this instant. She sticks the pen in his throat. Blood and green slime ooze out. She starts digging in with it, but now he has Jason's arms wrapped around her back. She grunts again as Jason lifts his body up. He begins to squeeze. Luann chokes up blood. It splatters on the silver hockey mask. Jason rises, and Luann drops with a cracked back, dead. Jason now moves on towards the ascending stairwell. Page 20. Interior office room, second story, lights out. Candace crawls under a desk. She bundles up and holds her legs tight. She's panting at first, then stops. Pan up to a view of the open door. Interior second story hall, lights out, Jason's POV. Jason steps up the stairwell. He moves ahead with the colors still flashing before him. He now looks at an open doorway to his right. Out of POV. Interior office room. Jason enters the room as we pan away from him. Back to the desk, and just under it, the whore's eyes light up. She's trying to keep completely quiet, but it's panic that causes her breath to increase. The footsteps move closer. Now on Candace fighting his knees. She fails. Cut to Jason's face jerking right at us. He moves right for the desk, curious. Back to Candace crawling out from behind the desk. Jason brings down his arm, snapping the desk in half. Page 21. Candace runs for a metal trash bin. She desperately picks it up and chucks it at Jason. He's hit in the chest, but it just bounces off, spilling shredded paper and dirty Kleenex at his feet. Candace is weeping under her breath, her eyes right on Jason, cutting off her way to the door. A brief stare. A pause as Candace backs up. Jason slowly moves closer, almost daring her to try something. She only begins to cry, backing up to the wide window panel. Back to a far shot of Jason in the darkness. He runs right at us, Candace screaming. She's tackled through the window, still screaming. Glass shatters. Exterior 2-lane drive between buildings. Candace and Jason fall to the snowy ground below. Kids with ice skates and adults by their side run. Candace is out of it, face down in the snow. Jason the same, face to the cloud-clearing night sky. Pan to the group of citizens creeping forth, weary. Pan to Candace and Jason side by side. Now into Jason's right eye hole, straight into darkness. Page 22. Cut to hospital, downtown. Interior, Wesley Lidl's room. Caption, December 25th, 1989. Wesley Lidl is putting on his cop coat. He's sitting at the edge of the bed. He looks away from the small television screen to the bed. Candace is just waking up, half covered in her hospital gown. She's got bandages over her forearms and one on the right side of her neck. Lidl. Merry Christmas, Candace. Candace, weakly, eyes fluttering.
Who are you?
Lidl. I'm a cop. Name's Wesley Lidl. Do you remember me? Candace closes her eyes. We met last year, briefly. I remember because it was the day my wife died. Candace, almost trying to sleep.
What'd she die of?
Lidl. Cancer. I know you, Candace. Caught you and your pimp. You spent a week in jail and I set you free. Candace, opening her eyes.
You did.
Lidl. That's right, I did. Sitting up. I knew what kind of man he was, and I also know he died in the Sunset Grill explosion last month. Turning the TV up, which is kind of why I wanted to talk to you. Page 24. Off TV. Wesley turns the TV off. He sets the remote down and turns back to Candace. Candace looks at him, sinking down. Lidl. I was out earlier, just as you were arriving. Arm to clothes, on chair across way. I brought you some new clothes, shoes, socks. Candace looks over with a smile. Candace.
Thank you.
Lidl, standing up again. And I know about you. You remember how I was last time we met? I still think you're beautiful. Really. Candace smiles brighter. I did lose my apartment recently. Candace.
Luan gave me hers.
Lidl. Luann's dead. Candace, turning head away.
Oh.
Candace begins to cry and Lidl leans in. Lidl. We'll catch the killer, Candace. We and a few others know the truth, but I don't feel it's right for you to be left alone. Page 25. Candace.
Do you have any kids, Officer Lidl?
Wesley shakes his head. Candace lunges ahead and hugs him tight. She kisses him once, then twice on the lips. Candace continued.
When I get home, I want you there.
Lidl. I'll be there. Backing up. I need to be out today, so no worries. Pause. Only minor injuries. You'll be okay. Candace, almost crying, smiling.
Merry Christmas.
Lidl smiles, stepping out of the room. The end. Episode 5. Massacre in Central Park. March 13th, 2009. Page 1. We open on Manhattan, New York. Sunset. Exterior, Central Park. Alice in Wonderland. Caption April 1990. Caption fades. Two young African-American children play around the statue, a brother and sister duo. The girl laughs, staring at the Alice piece, and the boy stoops down with an odd smile, hands out, beside the Mad Hatter piece. Caption Friday the 13th. Caption fades. But now an African-American woman, the mother, approaches. She smiles at her kids in play. They run around the statue, then run right up to their mother. Mother.
Time to go, kids. Your father is waiting.
The boy takes his mother's right hand. The girl takes her mother's left hand. The three head away from the statue. Cut to picnic area. Exterior table. A long table before a men's and women's bathroom. It's under a roof built just for the table. And we pan down from that roof to Creighton Duke. He's dressed in black pants, black boots, and a white t-shirt. He sips from a bottle of Coca-Cola before a small feast of New York pizza and chips. Creighton looks up to his family approaching. Page 2. Duke. You kids have fun? Son. Yeah. Girl. Yeah. The mother sits before him. Mother to Creighton.
What are you reading?
Creighton pulls up a copy of New York Times with his picture on the cover. The boy sits next to the mother. The girl sits next to the father. Mother. Continue.
Again?
Duke. Just trying to figure out what we're doing here. Creighton drops the newspaper upon a bag, and we pan quickly away from the King James Bible. Mother.
I'm sure God wants us here, Creighton.
Duke. I know that, Karen, but excuse me. To the kids. Kids, you mind taking your food elsewhere? The kids immediately pick up their plates of pizza and walk away. Creighton's eyes dart right back to Karen. Page 3. Karen.
What?
Duke. You just don't seem right nowadays. Beat. We're so far from home, and all I've got to go on is this myth. Karen.
We're not that far from home.
Duke. Well, creatures in the sewers is what I'm here to hunt. But how do you tell a cop he's insane? Mel, Leo. I don't know. Sitting down. You tell me. Karen.
Ian.
Karen. Ian and Karen hug. Ian, an officer of the law, so says his uniform. Creighton just nods his head with a slight grin, which just as quickly goes away. Duke. Just in time. Your woman still missing? Ian. My wife. Yes, she is. Duke. Well, I'm still sorry, even now. Ian. But you won't help me. Page 4. Duke. I didn't say that. I want to reunite you two. But monsters beneath the city? Ian. It's only a theory. Kayla was babbling about it. Duke interrupted. I've already heard this. Ian, hand on Karen's shoulder. Karen hasn't. Creighton sits back. Anyway, Kayla was babbling about creatures a couple nights ago. The next morning she's gone, and not a word from her. I was thinking she was visiting relatives in town, but they haven't got back to me. Karen.
Why Creighton? That's what I want to know.
Ian. He's a bounty hunter, and we've been friends for, 2 years? Duke. 2 days. I've only known you for 2 years. Standing up. And first thing in the morning, it's so long to New York for the Duke family. Ian, standing up. Now wait a minute. I really doubt that sewer monster garbage. It's that myth by your neck of the woods that's got me nervous for Kayla. Karen.
What myth?
Duke, you're talking about Jason Voorhees, ain't you? Page 5. Ian. Unexplained murders last year. Everything we've seen back at the station. It all points to that bastard. Duke. Mr. Red, I believe Jason is still out there. Ian. I'm an officer of the law, don't forget that. Duke, sitting down, annoyed. I won't. Creighton picks up his Coke bottle and chugs away. Cut to, street, nightfall, exterior, outside the park. A taxi cab pulls up. A man jumps out and runs to a garbage can. He throws up, with a white wrapper in his hand. The idling cab sits by a pedestrian couple pass by. Man and prostitute, hand in hand. The cabman pulls up, wiping the vomit from his lips. He holds up the white wrapper and pulls it back. An egg salad sandwich with a bite taken out of it. Cabbie. Bad eggs. The cabbie drops the wrapped sandwich into the trash can. He wipes his hands and turns. To a punch in the face. Jason Voorhees stands there, and he watches the head roll down past a few Central Park trees. Page 6. Jason turns his hockey mask face to the man and prostitute. They are stopped in their tracks, still hand in hand. But looking back at Jason, an awkward pause and stare between the three. But now the lovely couple move on their way. Jason turns his sights back on the cabbie's head. He leaves the body behind, entering the park. Cut to the picnic area. Windy night. Exterior, table 2. Creighton, Karen, and Ian are walking away from this first table. Karen seems nervous. Creighton picks up one of the 2 empty paper plates. Karen.
Where are they?
Duke, calling out. Boyd! Pause. Denise! Their children are not in sight, and they can't be heard. Cut to the arsenal. Moments later, exterior, front side. Boyd and Denise walk side by side. They look up at the complex in surprise and awe. Boyd. Whoa! Denise. Who do you think lives here? Page 7. Boyd. I don't know, but he must be rich. Siblings Boyd and Denise stop before the entrance. Denise. What do you mean he? She's probably a princess. Boyd heads for the entrance. Denise continued. Boyd, what are you doing? Boyd. It's too cold out here. Denise. We should be getting back, Boyd. Wait. Denise runs after her brother, who's entering the building. They pan away slowly, and around the corner steps Jason. He peeks around this corner. He breathes in and out slowly. Cut to picnic area. Windy. Exterior sidewalk. Karen, the mother, is crying. Creighton pulls Ian aside. Duke, you're going to stay here with her while I go look for them. If I don't come back with them, you're calling it in. Do you understand? Ian. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Good luck. Page 8. Creighton moves away. Ian walks over to comfort Karen. Cut to the arsenal. Interior foyer. Boyd and Denise look out the windows. They turn to darkness behind. A spooky stairwell on a bookshelf. Boyd. Maybe we shouldn't have left. Denise. I'm scared. Don't leave me. Boyd. I won't. But I hope you know the way back. Denise. What are you talking about? Boyd. I mean, I don't know how to get back. Denise. We should go now. I know the way. Come on. Denise heads for the door when Jason steps through the doorway. He turns to them and the kids run off. They scream at the sight of the white mask. Denise and Boyd run around a corner, and then another. Jason follows slowly. Boyd, taking sister's hand. Alright. Page 9. Boyd and Denise run up the stairwell. Jason walks, but with haste, around the corner. He stops and watches the siblings turn a corner upstairs. Exterior front side. 20 feet away, Creighton runs up. He's out of breath, and he looks over the complex. He looks right and then left. Duke. Boyd! Denise! Pause. Answer me! No answer. Creighton walks towards the complex. Interior upstairs hallway. Boyd and Denise duck into a room, leaving the door open. Just then does Jason step off the stairs. He turns left towards the sounds of separate footsteps. We hold on him for a moment as he moves slowly down the hall. Interior book room. A room of bookshelves and old books stacked here and there. Pan down below a desk where Boyd and Denise hide. Pan right back up to Jason entering the room. He looks from one end to the other. Now he steps over to the desk. Page 10. Interior foyer. Creighton Duke walks into this foyer. He looks from right to left. There's no other sign, other than a door wide open. But then Creighton turns to a bum stumbling by. Creighton cocks his head to the right at this. Man bum. You got a light? Creighton pulls out a lighter. The bum reaches for it. Duke holding it back. You seen 2 kids recently? Man bum. No. Honestly, no. Creighton holds the lighter out. He even lights the small flame with a flick of a switch. The man bum now starts feeling around his rags and his worn pants pockets. Man bum continued. You got a cigarette? Suddenly the sound of children screaming. Creighton's head jerks around to the stairwell. The man bum snatches the lighter out of Creighton's left hand, and Creighton pulls out a pistol from his backside. Man bum continued running. Later, sucker! Page 11. Creighton aims the pistol. A gunshot. The bum falls with a bloody scream, and he holds the back of his right leg. The blood spills out. Duke backing up. Later. Up stairwell. Kids! Man bum. VO. Oh, you shot me, you bastard! Ah! The bum starts to weep. Interior upstairs hallway. Creighton Duke runs up and turns right as Jason does, out of this mini library. The two stare at each other down. Jason cocks his head to the right, and Creighton's eyes widen. Duke. Jason! Jason takes a step forth, and Creighton lifts the pistol. A shot into the hockey masked man's chest. Then another, and another, and another. Jason drops flat on his back, still as can be, as Creighton walks over with haste. Creighton aims the gun directly at the upper torso. Bang, 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 click. Another 3 shots and the gun is emptied. Creighton drops the gun and turns to the room. Page 12. Interior book room. Creighton enters to the bloody sight of his children torn limb from limb. Creighton drops to his knees in shock. Cut to Cherry Hill, overlooking the lake. 2 police officers, a brother and sister, are standing by. Officer Ian. Standing by Ian is Creighton, and down on the ground, crying, is Karen Duke. Pan across Creighton's face, a single tear down his face. The 2 officers turn. It's siblings Penny and Patrick. Penny holds a notepad, and she's taking notes. Patrick just rubs his forehead for a moment. Patrick, I'm real sorry, Mr. Duke. Duke. Karen, weeping.
My babies. No. 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 No.
Duke, rubbing her arms. It's gonna be okay, baby, I promise. The husband and wife watch an ambulance drive away. Penny.
Duke, are you sure you killed him?
Page 13. Duke, I killed him. I told you, the arsenal. Up the stairs. And to the left. Wasn't as hard as I would expected, considering those stories about him. Patrick. There was no one there. Creighton slowly turns. Duke looked at him. What? Patrick. We didn't find the body. Karen.
He killed him. So find him, you fuckers.
Duke, to the officers. Don't take offense. Penny, stepping up.
Don't worry. But what I would like to know is how and why that gun was shot in the leg.
Duke, you stole my lighter. Karen rolls over on her side, the tears flowing more than ever. Creighton kneels down in sighs. He watches his wife, Ian, to siblings. What do you two have to say about this? Patrick. Well, first of all, we believe him. Creighton stands. He sighs thin, a small smile on his face. Page 15. Creighton stops and turns. Ian throws him his car keys. Creighton catches the set. Ian, continue. Loaded shotgun in the back. Creighton moves on. Flash 2, squad car back seat. Creighton opens the door. He sinks down and in, grabbing the shotgun. He stands back up and out, cocking the weapon. Cut to the arsenal, exterior front side. Creighton Duke heads for the entrance again, in no hurry. Cut to the lake, near Cherry Hill. Patrick, Penny, and Ian approach the lake. Patrick sinks down and picks up a stone. He stands up and chucks it into the lake. One skip and it submerges. Pan away from them, and coming around the fountain is Jason Voorhees armed with a fire axe. Page 16. Cut to the arsenal, interior foyer. Creighton is looking around. He takes a look over at the stairwell, then spins around. Each little corner of darkness. Creighton moves the shotgun around, but then Creighton stops at the side of a broken fire axe niche. Duke. Jason! Jason! The sound of Penny screaming. Creighton spins around to the door. He immediately runs out of the foyer. Cut to the lake, near Cherry Hill. Penny watches the axe swing by, cutting her throat deeply. She falls back as the blood gushes, her head almost, but not entirely, decapitated. Jason turns to Ian and Patrick. Patrick, pulling pistol. Penny! No! 3 shots into Jason's chest, and Jason only budges with each impact. Now the axe is brought down, nearly, but not entirely, slicing Patrick's head in half. Top to upper lips. The blood flows as Patrick drops dead. Page 17. Jason pulls the bloody axe up. Ian grabs Patrick's handgun, then pulls his own in the right hand. Jason advances with ease, and Ian opens fire. 5 shots from Patrick's gun, 8 shots from his own. More torso holes and a couple of ricochet off the silver mask. Flash 2 across the way. Creighton is running with shotgun in hands. Flashback to Cherry Hill. Ian is running for the squad car. Jason is on his trail. Ian approaches the squad car out of breath. He opens the driver's side door, then spins around. He looks right up into Jason's mask eye holes. Jason jabs the fire axe through Ian's abdomen. Ian drops, spitting blood. Now we see Creighton run up to and around the fountain. He watches Jason turn his head. Ian is crawling away slowly. Creighton aims his shotgun at the front of the car. Duke, quietly. Come on, Ian, move! Ian crawls a bit quicker, now flipping over onto his back. Jason just stands there staring down at him by the open driver's side door. Ian looks to the axe still in his body. Ian, weakly, to Jason. Fuck you! Page 18. Jason takes a deep breath and exhales anger. Now a sudden sound, a shot against the car. Jason's head directs in an instant to Creighton Duke across the way. Jason, move! Creighton cocks the shotgun. He fires again. This time, the squad car explodes. Creighton hits the ground as the fire seems to pick Jason off his feet. It throws him into the lake. Splash. Ian breathes heavily, crawling away from the heat of the fire and car parts raining down. Duke running over. Ian, drooling blood. Duke! Creighton runs over and kneels to Ian. Ian looks up at him, breathing heavier than before. But then Ian stops breathing. Creighton has a look of shock on his face. Then the bounty hunter stands, cocking the shotgun once more. Cut to the lake, underwater. Jason's body is barely seen in this darkness. Pamela. Voiceover. Eerie.
My boy. Don't stop. The pain is tremendous, but you've got to get up. Get up, Jason. Get up now.
Jason's eyes open.
Because Mommy loves you.
Page 19. Through the water, Creighton is seen stepping up to the edge of this lake. His back to Cherry Hill. Flash 2 above the surface. Creighton looks down with thinned eyes. Duke. Motherfucker. And in that instant, Jason erupts out of the water. Duke is punched to the ground. He crawls back as Jason runs at him like a growling savage. Duke screams as if a hunter with revenge on his mind. It's true, and then a shotgun blast. On Jason Voorhees, his chest explodes to shreds. The bodily remains soar across the lake. He lands and submerges much farther than before. Duke stands up, watching the head drop and last. But not before a couple of air spins. Fate 2 Central Park Hospital. A hold on the complex. Interior Ian's room. Creighton Duke passes by a door. He stops and looks into the bum he had shot. He's being operated on. Creighton smiles, picking up his lighter off a tray in the room. He waves at the bum, who points in a sudden rage at the door. Page 20. Man bum. That's him! Hey, you! I'm not done with you! Duke. Fuck you. Man bum. Hey, fuck you, buddy! That's my lighter! Duke leaves as the doctors calm the man down. Interior Ian's room. Duke enters. The doctors are just leaving. Nurse.
Sorry, you'll have to leave.
Duke. I'll only be a minute. Ian, it's okay, nurse. The nurse looks back at Ian, and she gives Duke the evil eye, but he just stares at her with a cold stare. Nurse.
1 minute.
The nurse leaves, closing the door behind her. Duke approaches slowly. He pulls up a chair and sits down. Ian, I got the word. Duke, I'm not gonna make it. Duke, don't say that. Page 21. Ian, it's the truth. It won't be long now. But I need you to promise me something, man. Please. Duke. Name it. Ian, I need you to find her. Duke, find Kayla. You know she's beneath the city. But no matter how you find her, however long it takes, can you do that for me, Duke? Duke, intent. I will. Ian rests his head deep onto the pillow. He looks up at the ceiling, and Duke sits back in the chair. Ian, I'm sorry about your family. Duke, I'm over it. Jason's dead, and I'm over it. End of story. Ian, guess I can die happy now. Duke standing up. Guess so. Slapping Ian's arm. I'll pray for you later. Duke starts for the door, his right hand on the handle. Ian, can you pray for me now? Duke slowly turns his head back to the dying officer. His hand moves off the handle. He steps over to the bed. Duke kneels down at Ian's side, putting his open palms together. Duke, praying, eyes closed. Dear Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, my God, please, bless this man, Ian Red. Bless his soul, and help me, Jesus. Help me find Kayla Red. Ian smiles. Duke opens his eyes and looks to Ian. Ian, thank you. Praise the Lord. Duke nods a couple times gently. Cut to the lake, sunrise, exterior Cherry Hill. Creighton looks over the surface. He's wearing a long black coat. Pedestrians are passing by. A tow truck is seen, towing the remains of the squad car away. Creighton just stares, now placing a black hat on his head. A ghostly image of Karen Duke walking on water, right towards Creighton, who stares in the Page 24. Interior Tunnel B. Creighton turns the corner. He stops at the sight of blood on the wall. He approaches the red stain and looks closer, peering with limited light. He pulls out his lighter and flicks the switch. The firelight reveals a bloody handprint. Creighton shows his teeth in anger. Interior Tunnel C. Creighton turns this corner. He starts to run. The sunlight is beaming down from an exit hatch. But then he spots it, a moving corpse of a woman's body. Creighton. Kayla! Creighton runs over and stops to his horror. What's left of Jason, a mangled mess. A little demon creature attached to the beating heart and silver-masked head via thick, bloody veins. Creighton aims and fires with a shotgun. In a single spark, the creature runs off, and it drags Kayla Red's mangled body with it. Interior, Chud Pit. Duke runs around the corner and sees the demon creature submerge. Duke stares at a small army of Chuds. The cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers face him. The end. Episode 6, Beneath the City, March 23rd and 24th, 2009. Page 1. We open on Manhattan, New York, early morning, exterior police station. A hold on the police station. Officers, male and female, head for the entrance. Past passing cars and other pedestrians. We also see parked squad cars in the lot. Interior, Lidl's office. Wesley Lidl walks in with 2 coffee mugs. Pan to Karen Duke, wiping the tears from her face. She sits on a couch, bundled up in a black blanket. Lidl, going to settle down now? Karen.
Yes.
Lidl, walking over. Good. Handing her a mug. Here. Karen takes the mug and takes a sip of the black coffee. Wesley walks over to his desk and has a seat. Karen.
Have you found my husband yet?
Lidl. No, but we know where to start. Karen.
Where?
Lidl. The sewers. Page 2. Karen, jumping up.
You think he's dead? Is that what you're saying?
Sipping coffee.
Don't say that.
Lidl. I didn't say that, Miss Duke, so have a seat. Karen has a seat, back on the couch. Karen.
You called me miss. So you do think he's dead?
Lidl. Jason Voorhees is a mean son of a bitch. Standing up. I only recently got out of the hospital because of him. And believe me, I'm not going to let him get away with it. Karen nods as Lidl takes a sip of his coffee. Lidl continued. Do you have a place to stay? Karen shakes her head. You can stay at my place then. Walking around desk. You can hang with my girl while I sort this out. Karen nodding.
Okay.
Wesley smiles. Karen looks up and sighs. Cut to sewer system moments later. Interior Tunnel A. We follow Creighton Duke and he moves silently around the corner. We hold on the darkness for a moment. Then Duke steps around the corner and stares right at us. Page 3. We turn right to a couple of chuds, and they are feasting on an old bum man's corpse. They rip it in half and sink their jaws into the bloody torso. Duke whispering, "Oh my." The chuds turn to this sound. Duke ducks right around the corner. Interior Tunnel B. Duke runs down this way, lifting up a shotgun. He spins around quickly and spots those 2 chuds walking around the way. But then Duke turns to a 3rd chud stepping in front of him. Duke hits the ground. A short scream is released from both Duke and this chud. This chud's neck starts to increase, and the mouth opens to reveal razor-sharp teeth. Duke lifts up the shotgun, staring into the chud's glowing eyes. 1 gunshot later, and the cannibalistic underground dweller is blown apart. Cut to Sunny Apartments a little later that day. Interior, Lidl's 1st-story apartment. Wesley Lidl and Karen Duke enter. Lidl closes the door behind him, and Karen walks right up to Candace, walking around the corner. Candace.
Who's this?
Page 5. Cut to sewer system. Interior Tunnel C. A couple of chuds gather with one another. A couple of chuds gather with another 2, whom have already begun feasting on a construction worker. This former construction worker with the yellow helmet is nearly nothing more than a mess at the feet of these monsters. But then another set of footsteps. The 4 chuds turn to something that has just stopped. It stares behind a silver hockey mask. The chuds approach Jason Voorhees, armed with a shining machete. The chuds growl, and then Jason growls. A chud charges at the masked brute. Exterior sewer hatch. Duke stands up, and now he watches a squad car pull up. Wesley Lidl gets out, and Duke waves him over. Lidl, running over. What the heck's going on? Duke, just in time, come on. Lidl runs in, following Duke into this darkness. Interior Tunnel C. Jason shoves one of the 4 chuds against the wall, the sound of its back cracking, and then Jason drives the machete into the chud's abdomen. A scream of pain. Page 6. But then 2 of the other chuds rip Jason off this bleeding monster, sliding down in pain. It collects its gooey insides, then looks up to his counterparts, shoving their fists repeatedly into Jason's stomach. Grunts of pain, and Jason is continuously beaten against stomach and back. Jason drops to all 4s. The wounded chud stands tall, pulling up the machete. The fighting 2 kick Jason flat on his chest. Jason spins around, and the wounded chud brings down the machete. Jason is cut across the chest, and now the blade starts moving back and forth, deeper into the torso. Interior intersection. Now we watch as the 4 chuds drag Jason from this tunnel, down into the sewage pits, where a skeleton is seen poking half out from the surface, a blue tin of lightning. But all this still dark. The chuds pull Jason over to a corner and prop him up. The wounded chud sticks the bloody machete in Jason's chest once more. An impalement which has the hockey mask killer stuck to the stone wall. The chuds begin to chatter amongst themselves. Jason cocks his head at this as the beasts move away, 3 of the 4, as the wounded chud steps forth. Jason quickly pulls up his arms. He rips the monster's head off. Page 7. Interior control room. Wesley Lidl steps out from a small room. He looks down the dark tunnel, then steps back in, closing the door. Inside, Lidl turns to Duke, tapping at a wall of valves. Duke, so this is it, right? Lidl, correct. Now what do you think? Duke, you heard them down there about a mile, turning from wall. But what I saw, I'll never forget. Lidl, what did you see, Duke? Duke, a woman's body. It was torn apart by the very creature I blew to heck the night before. Lidl, a Chud? Duke, not a Chud. Jason Voorhees. The Chuds witnessed it right alongside me, and they nearly killed me. Turning back to wall, but I killed one, and it got away. Now it's time to kill them all. Lidl, so we're going to drown them, is that it? I see. You want us to flood the sewers ahead of schedule. Lidl sneezes. Duke turns his head. Page 8. Duke, God bless you. B. And yes, that's correct. Lidl, okay, let's do it. Waste them all away. Lidl steps over to a valve and turns it. Interior intersection. Jason steps up to one of the 3 remaining Chuds, and the beast turns. Jason cuts the Chud in half at the waist. The halves drop, and the Chud screams in agony. Then Jason turns right around to another Chud, growling in anger. This Chud sinks its jaws into Jason's left shoulder. Jason howls, and the Chud pulls a chunk of the shoulder out. Jason then sticks the machete into the beast's skull. This Chud drops dead, and Jason turns to the 4th and final Chud moving away. Jason follows immediately, out of this intersection and into the next tunnel. Interior Tunnel D. Jason stomps forth, machete in hand. The 4th and final creature steps around the next corner. Jason advances. Page 10. Interior Tunnel E. The remaining Chud slams Jason against one side of this wall, and then he slams Jason up the opposite side wall. When Jason swings his left arm around, the Chud ducks and brings up the blood machete. Jason is cut in the left hip. Out spills thick blood gobs. Jason quickly shoves his fist in the Chud's mouth, but the Chud immediately clamps down on his fist with his jaws. Jason pulls his hand out. With such a force, most of the Chud's teeth fall out, and some are still stuck in Jason's hand, which has been shredded. Jason looks down to his hand and cocks his head behind the silver mask. Now he and the underground dweller turn. They're hearing a rush of water, or something liquid. It's coming their way, and the overhead lights are swinging to and fro. The Chud starts to run the other way, and Jason starts to follow. He's been through this before, and it's now apparent he's got no choice but to go through it again. Interior Tunnel D. Just as the 2 evils rush out, they are picked off their feet, and by the rush of toxic waste, not due to arrive until once a... Page 11. We follow Jason and the remaining Chud as they are moved along. The Chud growls and takes hold of Jason. It sinks its jaws into the back of Jason's head. Pus oozes out. Interior Tunnel F. The 2 creatures are slammed up against this wall. The waste moves along, and then we see a 5th Chud step out around the corner, its glowing eyes clearly scared. It is now whisked away so fast it hasn't time to do anything else. Pan back to Jason and the 4th Chud. They're floored and beaten. The Chud is melting. Jason Voorhees stands up. He picks up the bloody machete and turns to look back. He glances down at the melted Chud meal. Then he walks over it. He stomps on it in his depart. Flash 2, Jason coming to a halt. And now we witness his head meat starting to bubble up. The silver mask is now being broken apart along the edges. Jason drops to his knees, grunting in sudden pain. Then he howls in agony, lifting his upper body up. Arms out, he starts breathing heavily. Jason gets to his feet with a slight wobble. He stands there now, with a new toxic look, a mutated head, a new grotesque look. Jason hesitates no further. He clenches the machete. Page 15. Duke leaves, rolling his eyes. The door is closed behind him. A pause as the 3 stand around. Wesley throws up his arms in the air. He smiles and laughs under his breath. Lidl, well, what are you bitches waiting for? And just as the women gasp, Duke is sent flying through the window. The 3 hit the ground and turn their heads up to a Chud reaching in through the jagged glass. Flash 2, sunset. A mighty Chud roar just as the sun sets. Flashback to apartment living room. Wesley Lidl pulls his pistol. The Chud starts to grow, and it drools green ooze. Wesley aims and opens fire. Flash to parking lot. The Chud is shot in the forehead. An explosion of red blood. and green ooze as this creature backs into a parked car. Smash. The women are screaming. Now Wesley steps out of the front and aims again. Page 16. The women peek out, still screaming. Bang, bang. Wesley fires twice more into the stunned Chud's chest. A couple of nasty squirts of them from the bullet wounds. Then the Chud falls to its side. Wesley lowers the gun. The creature is now motionless. Wesley enters the room again. Interior living room. The two women are kneeling down. Wesley looks down in disgust. He packs the gun away. Lidl, is he okay? Karen.
He's alive.
Lidl breathes a sigh of relief, and then the kneeling women turn to Jason stepping through the door. Candace.
Behind you.
Lidl turns in time for the machete to drive through his back and out of his chest. Blood sprays on the women's faces. Candace and Karen jump to their feet. They back up, holding each other and screaming at the top of their lungs. Duke, barely conscious. Page 17. Creighton Duke watches as both Candace and his wife are decapitated, and before his watery eyes, their heads drop. Jason slowly turns to Duke, who's on his feet. Duke, fucking asshole! Jason steps up to Duke. An exterior parking lot, nightfall. We watch Jason, through the broken window, knock Duke out with the right backhand. Duke flies out the window and rolls via back across the parked car's rooftop. Duke hits the pavement with a slight grunt. He vomits blood. Now Duke stands, wobbly enough. He looks from the dead Chud and to the two approaching thugs. Then he turns his head to the door, and Jason stands there, disgustingly mutated. Duke, you're one ugly piece of shit. Jason starts walking at this. Duke starts off the other direction. Across the parking lot, we notice the two thugs duck around the corner out of sight. Page 18. Exterior street, busy. Duke runs across the street, and a taxicab nearly runs him over. It comes to a screeching halt as Duke makes his way to a subway entrance. We hold on the cabbie's angered face. It turns from anger to shock as Jason passes the front side of the taxicab. Cut to subway station below. Interior pad. Creighton Duke runs down a set of steps. He runs out and stops at a group of 5 waiting for the next train. They just turn their heads and stare a moment. Duke now walks over and past them. They pay him no more mind. Back to the stairwell as Jason walks down. Pan back to the group of 5 as the subway train arrives. The group of 5 turn their heads to Jason as he walks by. They ignore his very presence, however awful. Jason continues and finally stops at the sight. Duke stands there with a pipe at right hand. Duke waves Jason over, lifting the pipe. Suddenly we cut to the train arriving. Blood is splattered on the windows. The 5 New Yorkers stand back in shock and gasp. The train doors open. The 4 Chuds step out. The only New Yorkers within the train are a dead mess. Page 19. These 5 standing by run away, up the stairs, screaming, and just as Jason turns to the 4 Chuds staring him down. Creighton brings the pipe down, smashing into the back of Jason's head. Jason barely budges, fixed on the monsters in front of him. Jason reaches back, quickly punching Duke in the mouth. Duke drops to his backside and howls in pain. Now Jason tears the pipe out of his head and charges at the Chuds. The pipe is swung. A Chud is knocked in the right hip side, and it falls to the ground. Jason swings the pipe again, knocking away on upcoming Chud fist. His grotesque hand is snapped nearly completely off its wrist. Jason then drives the pipe down through the very same Chud's neck. This Chud stumbles back onto the tracks. It is then electrocuted. As 2 of the other 3 Chuds take Jason by the arms, they start to pull as the 3rd Chud stands up. Back down to the Chud on the tracks. It's being electrocuted. And now we watch Duke, with a bloody mouth, crawl to the edge. He watches this Chud explode to a chunky soup matter. Duke's head turns up to Jason's torso being that of a punching bag. The 3 Chuds have him at their mercy. Now Duke is standing up, weakly, but laughing. Duke, we're talking about you. Page 20. Creighton runs off, saluting Jason Voorhees, and Jason is punched to his knees. The Chuds start ripping at his sleeves, and they drive their fists into the masked face. Blood squirts out of the silver-masked face. Duke runs up the stairs, not looking back again. He's out of sight, and we pan back to the 3 Chuds dragging Jason Voorhees into the bloody subway train. The train doors close. The train starts to move, now into the darkness of the tunnel beneath the Big Apple. Interior subway train, tunnel. Jason looks up to one of the 3 controlling the train. Jason. Oh! Jason is punched in the face by one of the 2 guarding him. and now the other sinks its teeth into the back of Jason's neck as the other starts tearing into his chest with its fists. Blood and green ooze pour out. Jason is trying to crawl away, and he even manages to get to his feet. He's shoved into one of the bloody glass plates, and outside the moving train, Jason's head grinds again. Page 21. The two chuds pull Jason back in and pick him up. One holds him by the ankles, and the other by the wrists. They start to walk away from each other, face to one another. This being, Jason is stretched most painfully. He grunts painfully, looking down at the blood seeping from his mask. Now the two drop him in front first. He's nearly unconscious, and the two chuds bicker amongst themselves. Cut over to the control station as the operating chud listens in on a communicator conversation. Male, VO. What the fuck you talking about now, Darsh? Darsh, VO. Said I don't know, leave me alone. Male, Dog nabbit, Darsh, stop fucking around. Darsh, VO. Shut up, asshole. Male, VO. What'd you say to me? Darsh, VO. Shut up! The operating chud smashes the communicator with his fist. He laughs, and we cut back to Jason being strangled by one of the chud to his knees. Then Jason headbutts this chud, and its head is caved. Page 22. The operating chud turns back curiously and witnesses the Crystal Lake stalker picking up the remaining chud. A growl from the operator, immediately stepping over. Jason shoves this chud in the broken glass plate. Flash 2 tracks. The moving train turns the fallen chud into oatmeal. Flashback to subway car. Jason and the last chud charge at one another. When Jason shoves his fist into the creature's chest, the creature smacks Jason across the head. Jason shoves the creature onto one of the seats. Jason pulls up a glass shard and brings it down into the chud's leg. The shard is cut across, and the chud howls, now kicking Jason back with the opposite leg. The chud gets up and ducks Jason's eye right below. The chud shoves Jason up with his fist to the chest. Jason is lifted high, and his head slams upon the ceiling. An explosion of blood rains down upon the chud's face, and it lifts it up. The chud pulls Jason back down, slamming him upon his back. The chud starts kicking Jason in the right side. Once, twice, 3 times, now 4. Jason shakes his head at this, finally grabbing the leg by the 5th turn. Page 23. A moment's pause as the two stare at one another. Now Jason twists the ankle, and the chud screams, tipping over. As the humanoid falls, Jason rises. He holds up the chud's foot, then drops it. The chud starts crawling to the control room, leaving a trail of blood behind. Interior control room. The chud crawls from this room, but just as he enters, the chud flips over onto its back. Jason crouches, bringing his fist down repeatedly, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, finally 5 times, and by the 5th time, the eyeball hits the windshield. Jason stands again, looking down at the barely recognizable mess he had just made. The chud's face is mashed into the ground in a puddle of its blood and green ooze. Jason tries to relax, breathing in a little slower. Then the eyes behind the mask dart right at us. Flash to tunnel track. The subway train smashes into another train. Smashing pedestrians run off and away to safety, off the second subway pad. The smoke and metal spread about. Pan over to a giant hole. A moment's pause, then Jason steps out. He walks away into the shadow. Page 24. Flash to the next morning. Ian Red, in police uniform, steps up to the underground carnage. Other officers stand by. Reporters are taking pictures. Ian takes a deep breath and sighs at the mess. Duke, VO narrative. Hi, Ian. Sorry I couldn't see you before I left. And now that Jason's finished his working on my family, I have no choice but to leave. It's too painful. Ian moves closer, watching 2 corners pull the master chud's corpse into ardent disgust. Ian stares motionlessly. Duke, VO narrative. You must be relieved the doctors were wrong. You actually made it out alive, and for that, you continue to be my prayers. Ian kneels down to take a closer look at the chud. Cut to street, daylight, exterior diner. Ian walks past other pedestrians. He stares in at the redhead waitress. He then looks away, as she looks through the window to him. She stares concerned, but... Page 25. Duke, VO narrative. I'll be at my training compound, should you need to contact me. But I trust you to find those survivors, because he's still out there. He's still out there even now, and he'll be after them. Ian walks down the busy Manhattan street on this morning. Duke, VO narrative. I'll send help. I'll send help as soon as I can find it. I'll find the solution to this problem. As I've come so far already. And I'm sorry about your girl, Kayla. Was once a Voorhees. Now we know the secret, Ian. Ian walks past us, pan back to the sky, and fade out. The end. Episode 7, Sudden Impact. May 26th to 29th, 2009. Page 1. We open on Manhattan, New York. Nightfall. Exterior, cityscape. A hold on this familiar cityscape. Caption, November 1990. Caption soon fades away. We fade upon downtown hospital. The screams of a woman, Rennie Wickham. She's in pain. Interior, delivery room. Sean is kneeling beside this bed, where Rennie has just given birth. Now the slightly bloody doctor walks over, carrying the baby. She hands it to Rennie. Doctor. It's a boy, Miss Wickham. Congratulations. Sean and Rennie are smiling. Now Sean leans in and kisses Rennie on the forehead. Cut to Village Apartments. Exterior, second-story walkway. Pan in, close to this door. Page 2. Caption, 1 month later. Caption soon fades away. Interior, room 28, living room. Rennie is seated on the couch next to Karen Petty. Captain Hank Petty stands over them. And next to Sean, who's got his arms crossed over his chest. These two look down upon Rennie holding the baby boy wrapped in a white blanket. Hank. He is a wonderful boy, Sean. Just wonderful. I'm sure you're both very proud. Karen.
Yeah, congratulations. Sorry we haven't been around to see him this past month.
Rennie.
Don't worry about it.
Hank. Listen, after this engagement, I was wondering, Sean, wondering if you'd like to return to the ship. Sean. Sometime next month I intend to. Hank. Glad to hear it. Karen.
I'll be ordering a pizza.
Rennie.
Yes, Sean.
Interior, upper office, police station. A tall cop in a gray suit steps up to the police officer, Ian Red, and in turn this cop turns to this man, Ian. Harry, what's up, Harry? You'd say I'm pissed off. How about you, Ian? Ian. I don't know if I understand. Harry. Well, this isn't what I'd call a vacation. I'd say my final case before retirement was a joke. But you already knew that. Harry walks around the desk as Ian sighs. Ian, it's no joke, I assure you. The monster is real, and you're a long way from home to be making light of this situation. I've seen this monster up close and personal. Harry, really? Ian, you bet. And you better believe he's real. Harry, why me? Ian, figured you'd like to go out with a bang. Page 8. Harry, I didn't come here to die, Ian. So why don't you cut the crap and tell me about Jason Voorhees? Ian smiles. Flash 2, moments later. Harry sinks down in Ian's chair, staring off at nothing in particular. He's shocked as Ian makes his way around the desk. Ian's eyes direct to Harry's. Harry. Holy shit. Ian. Still alive, Harry? Harry. I believe you now. But what can we do? Ian. You're in charge, you tell me. Harry, sighing. Should have quit yesterday. Cut to New York docks, nightfall. Hank's tour boat is just leaving the docks. The statue is dead ahead of all of the four all inside the cabin. Page 9. Cut to tour boat, interior cabin. Hank turns away from the wheel. He smiles at Rennie. Sean and Sean Jr. are feasting over steak and pasta. Now Karen is stepping out of the bathroom. Karen.
I was wondering if you had a Bible.
Rennie.
No.
Karen.
Well, do you want one?
Rennie.
Sure, I guess. I suppose we could use one.
Karen smiles, kneeling down to a cupboard. Rennie eyes Sean Jr. in her lap. Hank starts to nod at the island ahead. Hank. And we were wondering if you'd like a bigger place to live. You've been to our place, right? Sean. What are you saying, Hank? It is a big place. Hank. I'm saying it's big enough for 2 families. Rennie.
I don't know about that.
Karen hands Rennie a King James Holy Bible. Page 11. Flashback to cabin. Hank's hands turn the wheel. Hank. What the fuck? Cut to Ellis Island. Exterior bay grounds. The boat smashes against the dock and scrapes against the side fiercely. But now it's stopped. Sean. Taking Sean Jr. Everyone off the boat! Flash 2. Sean hopping off the boat and onto the deck. Rennie jumps just after, and the two start running down the rest of the dock's path. Water on each side of the family of 3. Cut to tour boat, interior cabin. Hank and Karen hold each other tight. Jason steps forth, a grotesque sight, his silver hockey mask shining, but engraved upon the front side of his face. His head is bulging with flesh and muscle. His clothes are torn. Hank. Fuck you, Jason. Page 12. Jason tears into Hank, pulling him away from Karen by the neck. Hank struggles, but then his neck is cracked, and his lifeless body is tossed aside. Karen.
Hank,
Jason advances upon Karen, who's sunk low into a corner. Flash 2, window. Karen's head smashes through the window. Cut to Ellis Island, before the Statue of Liberty. Sean, Rennie, and their baby run up, only to halt suddenly. They're out of breath, but the baby is resting comfortably in Sean's arms. Sean. Why did they move the Statue of Liberty to Ellis Island? It doesn't make any sense, unless this is actually Liberty Island. Huh. Rennie.
shut up, Sean. We'll never be safe. You'll always find us.
Sean. I don't know what to say. Don't think they made it. Rennie.
Come on.
Rennie leads Sean and Sean Jr. into the statue's entrance. Cut to patrol boat into exterior deck. Dirty Harry is manning the boat, staring right ahead to Liberty Island. He spots the tour boat against the dock. Suddenly, Ian Red steps up. Ian, I think that's Sean's tour boat. The boat begins to speed up. Cut to Liberty Island. Jason moves ahead, slowly, towards the open entryway. Cut to Statue of Liberty. Interior stairway. Sean, Rennie, and the baby head up the stairwell with ease, but not without a worried haste. Cut to tour boat, exterior deck. Ian now stands by the patrol boat's wheel. Harry steps up. Ian, that's definitely the boat. Harry steps from one end to the other. He moves ahead and into page 15. Page 16. An old take filling in the gaps between part 8 and part 9. Obviously, I don't have as much passion. Just can't even finish it. I'm just so, hopefully stories, audio stories, volume 5 I'll be more passionate about it and thoroughly finish it, unlike what's happening now. Page 12, and page 13 is the last. The end.